Our story opens with the main character, treating us viewers to a magic trick, a spectacular leap from a 20-story building. And why this death-defying performance, you ask? Because the school's pack of hyenas got bored and decided to give him a little push. But after his grand finale, he didn't die. Instead, he awakened a supernatural power without ever touching a devil fruit. He gained the ability of a man in a vegetative state, but with one horrifying twist. He could feel everything around him. He could feel his grandmother's heart breaking over his condition. He could feel his younger brother being tormented. He could even feel the resentment, the wish that he would just check out for good and stop being a burden to everyone. Trapped in his own mind, his thoughts twisted and warped, imagining 1,000 ways to make his bullies pay. After 10 years locked in that hospital bed, a 10-year-long living nightmare, a miracle finally happened. A chance to redo it all, to return to that fateful day. And, just like that, a devil returned to the schoolhouse. All right, no more introductions. Let's dive in. The story's complete, and so is our recap. We hope you enjoy the show. Kim Hyunseong plummeted from the rooftop. A single, agonizing thought consumed him. Why am I falling? He looked up at the students on the roof, his mind reeling. I was just trying to graduate, to endure it all. I don't understand. His gaze went vacant. One thing was certain. Today was the day he would die. Or was it? Could he really say he died? A voice echoed through Salem University Hospital. Mom, it's been 3 months. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but I've never seen a patient wake up after being diagnosed as being in a vegetative state. I think you should prepare yourself. But his grandmother screamed back. What the hell are you talking about? Are you telling me my grandson will never wake up? You want me to just give up on him? The doctor replied helplessly. That's not what I meant. Lying unconscious in that bed, he thought. After I fell from that roof, I was diagnosed as a vegetable, something he'd only ever heard about. His grandmother grasped his hand, my Hyunseong. He could feel her touch. She stroked his face, her voice cracking. Wake up, my boy. Please wake up. How can you leave me like this? He could hear her voice too. I was fine, he thought. I was never even sick. I'm sure I'll be able to walk again soon. But in this world of suffocating darkness, there was nothing I was allowed to do. In the dead of night, the quiet hospital was empty. His grandmother was still there, holding his hand, weeping. Hyunseong, they're telling me to give up hope, but how could I ever do that? I raised you after you lost your parents. I will never abandon you. Just once is all I ask. Show me a sign that you're still in there. Move, Hyunseong thought. I said move. One morning, a familiar voice filled the room. Brother, I can't take this anymore. The bastards who bullied you are coming after me now. Lying still, the main character thought, those animals. Grandma had to start working at a restaurant to pay your hospital bills, and she keeps getting hurt. What am I supposed to do? In his silent consciousness, Kim Hyunseong heard the unthinkable. Just let go, brother. His little brother's voice trembled. We wouldn't be suffering like this if you had just died. Please, just wake up. Stop lying there. His brother's desperate screams echoed in his mind. Get up. But no matter how much he cried out, Hyunseong could only think helplessly. Forget getting up. I can't even shed a tear. This had to be a dream. I'm just having a long, terrible dream. If I just wait a little longer, if I just endure a little more, I'm sure I'll wake up from this nightmare. 3 years later, at the hospital, Hyunseong lay in bed, thinking, I don't think Hyunjin has visited in a long time. The nurses caring for him began to gossip. Did you hear that patient Kim Hyunseong's grandmother collapsed? Really? A shock went through him. What? They spoke with chilling cruelty. I guess that means we can turn up the TV volume now. Hyunseong cursed them in his mind. Son of a bitch. None of this makes any sense. In a fit of rage, he remembered the faces of those who did this to him. Park Min-cheol, Jo Young-tae, Jung Min-woo, Kang Chang-suk, Oh Jae-won, Kim Young-ju, and every single teacher who covered for those monsters. If a miracle could send me back to that day, I would crush every last one of them. He screamed in silent, hopeless rage. He pictured the family photo with his grandmother and brother, and roared inside his mind. Hyunseong imagined it clearly. Park Min-cheol screaming in fear. Help me! It hurts! It hurts? He imagined slamming his head down. Does it hurt more than what I felt? More than a man trapped in his own body? He kicked him hard in the stomach, screaming. His eyes blazed with fury, tears streaming down. I'm sure whatever pain you feel is nothing compared to what my grandmother had to suffer. Then, a cruel smile spread across his face as he watched his tormentors fall one by one. No, this isn't enough. Revenge can't be this simple. 4 years later, from beginning to end, no matter the method, I will plan to rip them out by the roots. 5 years later, 6 years later, so that they can never get back up again. 7 years later, I will make them face a pain far more terrifying than anything I ever experienced. A perfect plan designed to utterly destroy their lives. His eyes blazed with bloody rage as he screamed, clutching his head. That's right. What a brilliant plan, you bastards. But 10 years later, he was still lying unconscious in a hospital bed, thinking it was all for nothing. I don't care who it is. Please, just end my life. An image appeared in his subconscious, a man walking toward him. The figure smiled and said something. Hi, Hyunseong's eyes widened in disbelief. He looked at the classroom around him and thought, is it morning already? That familiar sound of a television. A blackboard? A classroom? The students were shouting, Stop it, you son of a bitch. Stop. What the hell? Hi, Hyunseong said, stunned. Then he scratched his face, thinking, right. Another dream about the past. He pinched his cheek and felt a sharp pain. Hi. Hyunseong stared at the pen on his desk, picked it up, and thought, if this isn't a dream, Without hesitation, he drove the pen deep into his own leg. He cried out in agony as he watched blood trickle down from the wound. Hi, Hyunseong whispered to himself. This isn't a dream? I've really come back. Just then, a young man's voice roared. You bastard! What the hell did you just say? Park Min-chu kicked another student hard and snarled. Do it myself, you little punk? If I wanted to do it myself. He stomped on the boy's face, then his body. Then what the hell would I need you for? The student cried out helplessly. Stop! I won't do it again. Hyunseong watched the scene, completely shocked. He knew this moment all too well. Park Min-chu's cruel face. This was the beginning of all his suffering. The agonizing memories replayed in his mind like a twisted film. Back then, everyone just watched, too afraid to interfere. Hyunseong stood up and walked behind the bully. Stop, he said. Park Min-chu turned his head. Did I hear that right? How interesting. Very interesting. A contemptuous smirk spread across his face. Hyunseong, you think you can handle this? You think you're any different from this worm? You're delusional. He stomped on the student again and said, You're nothing but trash. But before he could finish his sentence, a fist slammed into his face, courtesy of Hyunseong. He thought to himself, I've returned to my first year of high school. Park Min-chu spat out a mouthful of blood. I've returned to the very moment I've longed for. For so long. Hyunseong recalled the day his life was shattered. I can still vividly remember what happened that day. The classroom was buzzing with laughter and chatter. Park Min-chu was only half listening to the lecture. He was the textbook definition of a bully, tormenting his classmates for sport. He was obsessed with a game called Legend Online. He approached a student at a nearby desk. Hey, you're smart. You must be good at online games, right? How about you level up my character for me? The student trembled. Sure. Park Min-chu pressed on. You just said sure, didn't you? So, you agree to level up my character, right? From that day on, Lee Young-min became Park Min-chu's personal game grinding machine. Lee Young-min, once the top student, saw his grades plummet. Park Min-chu approached him again. With grades like that, you must have a lot of money, right? He was forced to pour his own money into the game, buying items for Park Min-chu. Exhausted, the student finally said, From now on, you should play it yourself. That was the breaking point for Lee Young-min, and that day was the first time I ever witnessed violence right before my eyes. I didn't want any trouble, but I remembered how Lee Young-min had sometimes kindly helped me with my work. I just couldn't stand by and watch as Lee Young-min was beaten with no one to help him. A friend tried to stop me. Hey, don't do it. It's not worth it. But I shot back. Are you crazy? That's Park Min-chu. Messing with him is social suicide. I knew what he was saying, but I was good at sports and never fell behind in the pecking order. With a frown, I stepped forward and said, Stop it. The name Park Min-chu didn't seem so terrifying to me. Just then, a teacher arrived, and the situation was quickly and crudely, resolved. From that moment on, Park Min-chu's gang began to torment me relentlessly. I became their new target. Every single day, I was dragged away by his crew. I was given no time to recover. They beat me until I was a broken mess. Even after school, some days I couldn't sleep, forced to run errands or grind in their stupid games. Hell. There was no other word to describe my situation. Back in that first-year classroom, everyone watched the fight in terror. Park Min-chu was stunned by the punch to his face. He turned, his face contorted with rage, and cursed. "You son of a..." But I didn't care. I grabbed his hair and slammed his head down onto the desk with brutal force. He trembled, blood pouring from his nose. The other students gasped in fear. "Is that blood? The class president. Has he always been like this?" Before he could even think of fighting back, I punched him again, thinking, asterisk, this moment, this exact situation. I replayed it in my head over and over while I was in that coma. Asterisk. Hyunseong raised his fist and brought it crashing down on his face again. Park Min-chu's fighting style was simple. He relied on his raw physical strength. Has not used to being hit, so if I land the first blow, has guaranteed to crumble. Asterisk. The moment he reaches up after that first punch, I'll grab his hair and slam his face into the desk. Asterisk. Hyunseong grabbed his collar, thinking, asterisk. I have simulated this exact scenario for the last 10 years. Asterisk. He slammed Park Min-chu to the ground, then hurled him straight into the lockers behind them. Without missing a beat, he drove a foot right into his face. With every kick, he thought, you have no idea how long I've waited for this moment. I couldn't care less if you get beaten to a pulp. If he lifts his head, I'll kick his face. If he blocks with his hands, I'll break them. Suddenly, a chair flew through the air, shattering the tense atmosphere. A startled Hyunseong turned to see a gang of thugs walking in. "Stop right there," one of them said. "You bastard, Min-chu." Hyunseong shot back coldly. "And what if I don't want to? Is this bastard insane?" Jung-min uttered in disbelief. He then thought, but if he's picking a fight with Park Min-chu, he has to know who he's messing with. He doesn't look the least bit scared. "Need something?" This was Jung-min, a member of Park Min-chu's crew from freshman class 8. Another large goon stepped forward. "Are you scared now? Good. We're ending your little game today." They were called Park Min-chu's gang only because he led the bullying. In reality, this new guy was the strongest one in the group. This was Kang Chang-shik, the true muscle of Park Min-chu's crew, also from freshman class 8. Hyunseong stared back with an emotionless expression. Just then, someone burst in, shouting, "Hey, the teacher's coming." At that, Jung-min said, "Chang-shik, let's go. We'll settle this later." He then threatened, "Just you wait, you little punk. I'm coming for you the second class ends. Don't even think about running, sweetheart. You should be looking forward to it." And with that, the gang left. Park Min-chu groaned in pain. "Damn it, my head." The classroom immediately filled with hushed whispers. Park Min-chu slumped onto his desk, thinking, "Damn it, what the hell just happened? I remember getting punched." But the next thing I knew, I was on the floor. Kim Hyun-jung. "How dare you humiliate me like that? I'm going to kill you." He glared at him, thinking, "The others will be here after class. You think you can escape?" Honestly, that bookworm only got me because I let my guard down. He must have finally snapped after witnessing all the kids I bully. Even though he's the class president and interfered sometimes, he never crossed the line, so I had no reason to mess with him. Regardless, one thing is certain. He crossed the line first. "You're dead, the second class is over." The teacher began. "All right, everyone, please pay attention. Today's lesson content will appear on the midterm exam." Meanwhile, Park Min-chu's gang was whispering, "That bastard is so damn annoying. I just wish this class would end already." "You think? But hey, that Kim Hyun-jung, is he on drugs or something? He was acting like he had a death wish." I thought this would be an easy fix, Jung-min thought to himself. But since his acting up, we'll just have to stomp him into the ground first. Could he be spreading rumors about that story? No, impossible. He might have lost his mind, but whatever the reason. Jung-min frowned and continued. "Kim Hyun, Jung disrespected us in front of everyone. If we let this go, the other nobodies will start to look down on us too. So, even with that request we got, let's use this as a chance to crush him for good. Let's make sure Kim Hyun-jung never looks at us with those arrogant eyes again." "Damn right, that son of a bitch." Kang Chang-shik gritted his teeth and hissed, "I'm going to kill him for real." The moment the teacher left the room, Park Min-chu shot up from his seat, thinking, Kim Hyun-jung, you're finished. But like lightning, Kim Hyun-jung was already on him, landing a kick to Park Min-chu's face before he could even react. He then grabbed him by the hair. What the? With a vicious glare, he threatened, should we pick up where we left off? Park Min-chu looked up, his mind racing. This bastard. What was the deal again? You told me to stay out of your way, Hyun-jung cursed. This sent a jolt of fear through him. Does he really intend to fight? That's enough for today, Jungmin declared, standing up. There's nowhere to run. This is a school. Let's go. Time to beat that bastard Kim Hyun-jung. Outside the classroom, students were buzzing. As Park Min-chu's crew arrived, they were stunned by the scene. Jungmin roared, Holy hell! That son of a bitch Kim Hyun-jung! Move it! They immediately charged forward. When Jungmin reached the doorway, he saw Hyun-jung holding Park Min-chu up by his collar, his other hand raised for another punch. With a blood-stained face, Hyun-jung smirked. You guys are late. Park Min-chu's friends were frozen in shock. Kang Chang-shik lunged forward, screaming, You damn mutt! Hyun-jung thought. I've replayed this moment over and over. When I was in a coma for the last 10 years, I knew dealing with Park Min-chu would be no problem. The biggest problem is this guy, Kang Chang-shik. Taking down Park Min-chu is easy, but with my current strength, there's no way I can defeat this guy in a straight fight. So what do? It's simple. I'll do something I've never done before. With that, he grabbed a weapon and smashed it over Kang Chang-shik's head, causing him to scream in pain. A fair fight? I couldn't care less. He grabbed his head again, raising a keychain. This is about revenge. I don't have the luxury of choosing my methods anymore. He then brought the lockdown on Chang-shik's head again and again. I don't care how much you work out. You can't take a hit from solid metal. With that, Myung tossed him aside, making Jang Wook crumple to the ground. The other two flinched, raw fear creeping into their eyes. Myung then let another object clatter to the floor, and this was his opening. If I slam into him with this much weight... Jo Young-taek's eyes flew open in pure terror. Hai Eun-jung charged, wrapping his arms around his waist. He knew Young-taek couldn't possibly withstand the impact, and by slamming him onto the hallway floor, he left him no time to react to the next attack. Hai Eun-jung's fists became a blur, pounding Young-taek's face just as he had with Park Min-chul. He thought, I can't worry about Dong Min-ho attacking from behind. It's better to neutralize Young-taek right here, right now. This is how I will claim my victory. Myung's knuckles were raw and bloody as he brought down another punch. He thought about them outnumbering him. Young-taek's hands trembled as he shrieked in agony. Myung wiped the sweat from his brow, thinking, I've replayed this in my mind for so long, but it seems my body can't quite keep up. Still, I can't afford to stop. It wasn't over yet. With that thought, he immediately turned towards Dong Min-ho. There was still one more bastard left. Dong Min-ho's mind reeled in fear. Kim Hyun-jung, is he really this strong? Hess so powerful. He should be removed from the list of bullying targets altogether. He can't be this overwhelmingly strong. He's a monster. Jang Wook was already taken down. Dong Min-ho trembled, knowing he couldn't possibly defeat him alone. Seeing this, Myung stepped closer and said, Shouldn't we bring this to an end? Min-ho shivered, his mind racing. Damn it, my arm. Hi! Eun-jung raised his fist. Terrified, Dong Min-ho threw his hands up to shield himself. A teacher suddenly appeared, shouting, Hey! What are you students doing? A wave of pure relief washed over Dong Min-ho. Ha, that's right. The teacher will see all of this. As the one who started the fight, 3 students are bleeding. This is a major incident at school. You're finished, you idiot. Yet Myung simply wore a calm, unnerving smile. In the teacher's office, the lecture began. Kim Hyun-jung, have you lost your mind? Even for a boy, there's a limit. One of them had to be taken to the hospital with his face covered in blood. This will become a serious problem if things get out of hand. I might have to take responsibility as his advisor, the teacher thought anxiously. If I don't want to get dragged into this, it's best to just pin all the blame on Kim Hyun-jung. Why is this kid so calm when he's in this much trouble? He said sternly. This problem won't be resolved just within the school. I've been a teacher for 10 years, but I have never seen a student quite like you. Just get ready. Their parents won't let you off easy. You will pay the price for this. Suddenly, Hyun-jung chuckled and said, Sir, don't you think you're overreacting? This isn't the first instance of school violence to happen here. What did you say? He continued, The only thing you're good at, sir, is looking out for yourself. Just cover this up, and then I won't have to get into any trouble. Show your true colors. Hi, Eunjung thought. The teacher's face flushed with fury as he slapped the boy, roaring, "You little brat!" The other teachers frowned at the scene. Myung watched their expressions and thought, just as I suspected. This is why I had to die. It wasn't just because of the bullies. The cause of my death was the bullying, and the cowardly adults who were always too busy to ever intervene. Everything has its limit. He ranted hysterically. Have you no shame? I remember it so clearly. Especially Kim Yo-han Chu, the advisor from the first term. He was a teacher, a piece of garbage who could never be called a human being. Myung touched his cheek, a small smile playing on his lips. You should stop now, sir. But the teacher, unafraid, raised his hand and screamed, Listen to this bastard. Are you really going to continue? What? The teacher froze. You should lower your voice. If you don't, you'll be left with no other choice. You've been accepting bribes from students, parents, right? Especially from Dong Minho's parents. As far as I know, the two of you are in frequent contact. Should I shout that for everyone here to hear? And even if that doesn't work, I have other things. For example, your little affair with the English teacher. The teacher was stunned. You stop right there, Kim Hyunseong. You bastard. Hyunseong's mind flashed back to the past. After somehow surviving the endless bullying, I had finally come to a decision. I knew it wasn't a good solution, but I went to find a teacher. I thought I needed an adult's help. The teacher picked up his mug and spoke. I see. So that's what happened. Hey, Park Min-chul, is what he's saying true? He lied without even blinking. Sir, there's no reason for me to bully my own friend like that. We were just joking around a little. I'm a pretty big guy after all. Hyunjung must have misunderstood and thought I was bullying him. Hey kid, whatever the case, don't bully your friends. Don't you think nothing good comes from punching each other? Yes, sir. I'll keep that in mind. And in the end, that's how they resolved the problem. Myung walked out of the office, trembling. Park Min-chul sneered. Follow me. Kim Hyunjung, you son of a bitch. Did you really think you'd accomplish anything by snitching to a teacher? In a secluded corner of the school, the sickening sound of a beating echoed. Park Min-chul slammed a fist into Hyunjung's face, sending him to the ground. Then, he began to relentlessly stomp on his stomach. Myung's thoughts burned with seething hatred. I was wrong. I was so unbelievably furious. If you call yourself a teacher, an educator, you should at least investigate when a student tells you that Lee is being bullied. That's your job. Die, Park Min-chul screamed. Today, I'm actually going to kill you. Through the window, he saw the man's terrified face. A teacher? That's right, because he saw me getting beaten with his own two eyes. He must have realized how serious it was and would surely punish them severely. But instead, he just quietly turned away, as if had seen nothing. I later discovered that Kim Young-chul was just a piece of trash who took money from parents. And Jung Min-ho's parents were one of his main sources of income. From the very start, he had no intention of ever solving this problem. After that, I did everything in my power to handle it, even if I had to do it all by myself. Even knowing I couldn't win this fight, I raised my fists. I fought to escape this hellish reality. Despite his words, the boy still swung his fist into Jung Min-ho's face. That day was especially violent, and he was suddenly wrestled to the ground. However, at school, a frantic voice echoed through the halls. Oh my God, what happened to my precious son's face? What bastard? What son of a bitch did this to my Minho? Hyunseong started it first, he said with a smirk. Does this even make sense? My son's precious nose is broken, and we will not let this go. His mother screamed. Hyunseong's grandmother bowed her head helplessly, saying, I'm truly sorry, my boy. This kind of adult intervention is a world I can't touch. Not when I don't have parents. Even in the school violence committee, I was the only one who received punishment, while Park Min-chul's gang went through their school life without any obstacles. From that moment, I fell into a trance. It was only much later that I realized, in reality, I could never get revenge with brute strength alone. To even deal with the adults meddling, I had to gain leverage that, in the truest sense of the word, could earn me revenue. The teacher sweated, terrified. He kept looking around, then sneered and said, What nonsense is this, teacher? From now on, when you speak to me, think very carefully before you utter a single word. You were introduced to Jung Min-ho's parents through a university upperclassman, weren't you? You were taking care of Jung Min-ho even before he entered this school, and you receive a monthly payment as a reward. You're having an affair with a foreign language teacher, a married woman with 3 young children. The two of you frequent a shady motel. Should I say more? You live a filthy life, teacher. So filthy that this isn't even the tip of the iceberg. If all your flaws were exposed, your career as a teacher would become very difficult, wouldn't it? I bet you don't think this is nonsense anymore. Saying that, he casually sat down and continued, If you keep acting this way, even after I get you kicked out of this school, I will still stomp all over your life. After I entered my 3rd year, Kim Young-chul's private affairs were exposed. His wife came to the school, slapped him hard, and stamped the divorce papers. To outsiders, Kim Young-chul's family seemed wealthy. It was also rumored that all of their so-called assets belonged to his wife. If that was true, I was certain that Kim Young-chul's greatest fear was having his secrets exposed. So there was no way this blackmail wouldn't work. He trembled and asked, What do you want me to do? Hyunseong continued, It's simple. If you want me to keep quiet, just keep living with the same attitude you've had all this time. What do you mean? His eyes glazed over. Continue living like trash. For the time being, remain a spectator, idle in student matters, and bury them, even though you know it's wrong. The only thing that's changing is the target. From now on, you'll have to do it for me. Stop this incident from blowing up, no matter what method you use. If you do as I say until the day I graduate, I will never reveal your secret. Hyunseong's gaze was cruel. You understand what I mean, right? Defeated. He finally said, I'll do my best. Hyunseong left the teacher's office thinking, Kim Young-chul. He was just the first card I thought of. I need to prepare the next one quickly. However, there are a few things I have to do now. He stopped in front of the classroom door. Jung Min-ho kicked over a desk and said angrily, You son of a bitch. Are you insane? I'll tear him to pieces and kill him as soon as he gets back here. He panted, thinking, Kim Young-chul is taking my mom's money. He won't let Kim Hyunseong off the hook. At the very least, hell have to drop out. I won't have to see Kim Hyunseong, and I won't have to get tangled up with that guy anymore. Honestly, I was a little scared. Don't tell me the others couldn't catch me. Ah, damn it. He continued to fume, throwing a chair. The students looked at him with concern. With a crazed look on his face, Jung Min-ho thought, I have to be the predator in this school. Just because of that Kim Hyunseong, I will never allow my status to plummet into the abyss. With a sigh, he sank back into the chair. Jung Min-ho scoffed internally. It must have been a fluke. That punk took down 3 guys, but if I see him again, I'll crush him without breaking a sweat. Just then, the door slid open, and men walked in. Jung Min-ho. We need to finish what we started, don't we? Before the terrified bully could even react, Men's fist crashed into his face. He slammed onto the floor, struggling to push himself up and look at his attacker. As Hyun approached, sweat poured down Jung Min-ho's face. Another kick slammed into his jaw. Blood sprayed from Jung Min-ho's mouth. This bastard is insane, he thought in despair. A complete psychopath. Somebody, please, anyone. Suddenly, he saw his teacher standing by the door. Kim Young-chu. That's right, damn it. He took money from my mom. He has to help. The teacher casually turned his head and walked away. A silent message. Don't expect any help. Men raised his hand and said, because no one in this school is going to help you. 5 minutes earlier, the teacher was trembling, anxiously biting his nails. This situation is way beyond my control, he panicked. 3 students were hospitalized because of that kid. Of course, the school doesn't want this to escalate. But if I don't discipline Kim Hyun properly, the victim's parents will raise hell, especially Jung Min-ho's parents. Those two will never forgive anyone who touches their son. They're incredibly wealthy, owning entire blocks of buildings, and they're famous here in Daesan. They've even donated a fortune to the school. The recent campus renovations were all thanks to their money, weren't they? On top of that, they're on a first-name basis with the principal himself. Their influence is undeniable, and most importantly, I took money from them too. The moment he realized the full scope of the problem, he grabbed his head in terror. I'm completely screwed, he thought. Think, just think. Kim Young-chu saw only one way out. He had to separate Jung Min-ho from the incident completely. Kim Hyun hasn't done anything to Jung Min-ho yet. So if I can persuade his parents, they might just let this slide. After all, those other kids were just their son's friends. The teacher smiled at his own genius. Then, if I find Kim Hyun and tell him to at least leave Min-ho alone, things might not be so bad. With that, he shot up from his chair and ran, thinking, I have to get Kim Hyun under control. Fast. But when he arrived, he was stunned by the sounds of a brutal beatdown echoing from the classroom. He saw Dong Min-ho's swollen face and thought, "Since when? It's over for me." The battered Dong Min-ho shot him a desperate look. The teacher quickly turned away. Damn it all. Forget Dong Min-ho's parents. My life is over if my affair with the foreign language teacher gets exposed. And just like that, he walked away as if nothing had happened. Back in the classroom, Hyun raised his fist. Rage burned in his thoughts. You dare look down on me when this is all you amount to? For 3 long years, as you bullied me day after day, you always said it was because I was too weak. Now look at you, trembling like a frightened dog, and I've barely even started. He lowered his hand, his eyes like a predator's. He turned, pushed a chair out with his foot, and sat down. Men glanced at Dong Min-ho. You stupid bastard, he thought. I knew if I left you alone, the incident with the other 3 would be covered up somehow. But if I was really going to pick and choose my targets, I wouldn't have smashed Park Min-chol's face the moment I came back. Instead, I would have chosen a quiet life, far away from trash like you. After going through a living hell, the only thing I want is revenge. And this is the result. Everything is about to be turned upside down. Hyun looked at the pathetic Min-ho on the floor. 3 down, and 1 more here. Just as the principal said, he wants to build this school into a prestigious academy. He'll definitely try to discipline me harshly for this. On the other hand, far too many people witnessed what I did for this to be swept under the rug. No matter how hard he tries, he won't be able to stop what's coming. If I can't even handle this school, then I should just give up on my revenge right now. This is only the beginning. In an office, an angry voice boomed. There is no way we are letting this go. Student Kim Hyun not only hospitalized the victims with extreme violence, but even after his session with teacher Kim Young-chu, he showed absolutely no remorse. Furthermore, this student then mercilessly attacked student Dong Min-ho. This is an unforgivable crime, the principal said calmly. Have you all seen the faces of the victims? They were beaten so badly they look like thugs from a gangster movie. This was Oh Hwan, the principal of Bright Prospect High. Someone else agreed. That's right. I believe we should take disciplinary action immediately. The other teachers nodded in agreement. I also share the principal's opinion. The woman who just spoke was the foreign language teacher, Limon Minion, of Bright Prospect High. She stared at the principal, declaring, "We must expel Kim Hyunseong." Noticing Kim Young-chu's unusual expression, she turned to him and whispered, "What's wrong?" He fumed silently. "If you don't know anything, then please just stay quiet. If you don't want our relationship to be discovered, you have to protect Kim Hyun-sung with everything you have. If he gets expelled, everything will be over." His eyes darted around, then locked onto Kim Hyun-sung, who was sitting with a confident smile. He spoke, his voice laced with fear. It's true Kim Hyun-sung was at fault, but as the homeroom teacher of Section 1, I've observed that this incident was instigated by the victims, including Park Min-chu. The principal asked in surprise. What are you implying, teacher? Teacher Kim Young-chu continued. There are numerous rumors that Park Min-chu's gang has been bullying other students on a regular basis. I intended to catch them in the act and discipline them immediately, but it seems student Kim Hyun-sung could no longer endure it, leading to this unfortunate event. Esteemed teachers, student Kim Hyun-sung was the victim before he became the perpetrator. If we punish Kim Hyun-sung under these circumstances, it would go against the very ideals of an educator. However, punishment is still unavoidable. The principal scowled and shouted, Teacher Kim Young-chu! The teacher yelled back. Principal! The principal thought to himself. Young Min-ho's parents will not let this go. To mitigate their anger, I must discipline the student who caused this incident with extreme prejudice. If I want to realize my dream of turning this school into a prestigious academy, maintaining a good relationship with the powerful is absolutely mandatory. I will summon the disciplinary committee 1 week from now. During that meeting, we will decide on how to discipline student Kim Hyun-sung. Therefore, I expect all of you to manage this situation and prevent any rumors from leaking outside. In addition, student Kim Hyun-sung is suspended until the committee is convened. Go home and reflect on the harm your actions have caused our school. Hyun-sung just smiled calmly. After that week, return and bring your parents with you. I understand. Hyun-sung stood up to leave. As he walked down the hall, a voice called out to him. Hyun-sung, the teacher's voice trembled with fear. I did everything I could. From the moment you struck Young Min-ho, this situation spiraled beyond anything I could possibly resolve. Damn it! Couldn't you have held back just a little? If you had just laid low, An opportunity to fix this would have appeared, as long as it was within my power to do so. Hyunseong smirked to himself. Kim Young-chu is quite an interesting character. When was the last time you looked down on me and struck me across the face? In the end, he's just a piece of trash who threw away his honor as a teacher long ago. I was able to get to him because he's the kind of man who would sacrifice everything for someone else. Depending on the situation, I knew from the very beginning that this matter could not be resolved so easily. After a moment he turned and said, "I know you did your best, sir. So, you knew from the start that Park Min-chu was regularly bullying other students, didn't you, teacher?" Hyun-sung's voice dropped to a threat. "Remember this until the day I graduate from this school. The only way you can stop me from revealing everything is to work tirelessly to ensure everything always goes my way, whatever it takes. If you can't even manage that, then it won't just be you whose life it'll ruin. I will personally shatter Lim Young's entire future, too. I swear, I never break a promise." "All right." The teacher hung his head, utterly defeated. As Hyun-sung walked away, he thought with cold fury, Kim Young-chu, if only I could. I would love to destroy him right now, but he isn't my true target. I can't let my anger force me to discard such a useful pawn. At the very least, I need him until I've established a foundation at Bright Prospect High, he thought as he opened the classroom door. Even though he's just a teacher, he's the type who doesn't care what methods he has to use to survive. Hyun-sung grabbed his bag and left. 1 week from now, that is the moment I have spent the last decade thinking about and planning for. The instant that moment passes, Principal Oh Ga-hwan, what happens next will not be anything like what you expect. That afternoon, after the fight, Kim Hyun-sung was on his way home, thinking, I can finally walk down this alley again. Just how many years has it been? This shabby apartment, Unit 0. My home. It's only worth about 50 million won. If not for my parents' life insurance, it'd be barely surviving on a monthly salary. The moment my grandmother had to move here to arrange for my hospital fees, I felt as if my entire world had collapsed. Ever since I was a child, I recognized how wretched this place was. But to be honest, I'm now grateful I still have somewhere to return to. He stepped into the house and called out, "Grandma?" But there was no one in the room, he thought to himself. If memory serves, she's still at work right now. All for this family. This is no time to get sentimental. This new chance is a miracle, and I'm ready to get my revenge. And if I can, I'll find a better place for her and Hunjin to live. There's 1 week until the council meeting. He entered the room and opened his notebook. The next phase of the plan had to be flawless. Within 2 years, we have to devour the surrounding territories, build our foundation, and completely eradicate their base of operations. To do that, I need 3 things. First, my own personal strength. To take down those thugs, I need the power to face them without flinching. There's no way I can train to that level on my own. But there is times that times person. If I can defeat him, I'll gain a massive advantage in the battles to come. The second condition, timing. My future enemies are actively recruiting right now. To deal with them, I need to find allies who share my goals. When it comes down to it, they all hold key positions, while I'm just a first-year high school student. Even with a perfect plan, I don't have the manpower to execute it. He bit his lip, thinking, I need to prioritize finding the people I need. And finally, the most important thing. The third condition. This is something I can handle, because I have experience. A backer. I need a powerful backer to set my plan in motion, so that nothing can stand in my way. For now, to solve the issue with the council, securing that support must be my top priority. In the parking lot outside the police station, a man was screaming, Hey, do you have any idea who I am? Do you know what family I come from? If you don't know me, you must be spies, not citizens of Dasan. Just because you're cops, you think you can get away with pissing me off? What the hell? A police officer frowned. Sir, could you please keep it down? Sir, you're calling me sir? What the hell are you talking about? I'm a 35-year-old single man. This man was Go Jang-bo, the eldest son of the Mean Construction Group. You son of a bitch. With that, he furiously kicked a piece of equipment. The helpless officer thought, asterisk. Of course we know who he is. Go Jang-bo, eldest son of Mean Construction. Asterisk. Asterisk. Hez, a dangerous figure in Daesan. Well, be in deep trouble if we screw this up. Asterisk. But these days, they had to be more careful. With the succession race underway, it would be a problem if he became too reckless. But now was different. Let go of me, he yelled, as an officer restrained him. In this case, We have to follow the law. There's nothing else we can do. Damn it, he cursed, slumping down. The officer thought, asterisk. This is better than being scrutinized by other departments. Asterisk. Asterisk. If we let this go, it's a problem. But since he claims they hit him first, he had no other choice. Asterisk. Those bastards were so pathetically weak, they ended up in the hospital. What else was I supposed to do? Damn it. He fumed, thinking, asterisk. If the Southern Branch finds out, my rival will make a huge deal out of this damn situation. Asterisk. Asterisk. Recently, my father officially announced the start of the succession race between me and my younger brother to see who is capable enough to take over the business. Asterisk. Asterisk. In other words, to take his seat, it's me, with only a high school diploma, against my brother, who graduated from a prestigious university. Asterisk. Asterisk. He even married into a powerful family 3 years ago. Because of that, his position is rock solid. Asterisk. Asterisk. It'll be finished if he finds out I was involved in a brawl and broke the law. Asterisk. The police officer said sternly, Mr. Go Jangbo, I know you're upset right now, but this is your fault. You assaulted innocent people. We can't just let this slide. He roared back. I told you, those guys hit me first. Yes, that's what you said, but there's no evidence. There was no CCTV there, and the victims' testimonies are all consistent. Damn it all. Go Jangbo turned away, fuming. Asterisk. A succession race? Asterisk. Asterisk. Should I just give up? Asterisk. Suddenly, he noticed someone sitting on a nearby bench. Huh? What's a kid doing here? Hyunseong smiled nonchalantly and said, I'm here to be a witness for that man. Who should I speak to? Kim Hyun-sung held out a phone with a clip playing towards the officer. Seeing the footage, the officer broke out in a cold sweat. Hyun-sung just kept smiling. The officer put a hand to his head. How? How do you have this? Just as Go Jangbo stated, those men were the ones who assaulted him first. Anyone can see that those passers-by were the ones who blocked his path as he was walking. I just happened to witness it as I was passing by. I figured it would get complicated since there was no CCTV, so I borrowed the dashcam footage from a nearby car and came here. Because I knew a testimony from a minor like me wouldn't be very convincing on its own. This man tried to avoid a conflict at all costs, but those men cornered him and attacked him. He had no choice but to defend himself. Hyun-sung said with a casual smile. It's not his fault, he's so strong he took them all down with one hit. This is clearly self-defense. The officer and Go Jangbo draped an arm over Hyun-sung's shoulder, laughing. You said it perfectly! Kid, how can you say such wonderful things? This handsome kid. Even as he said it, he was thinking, that was a close call. After all, anyone who gets assaulted can file a report like this. As long as there's evidence and a witness, there's no way I can be in any danger. I understand. Well, stop the investigation here, the police officer said, completely powerless. And once the so-called victims, the attackers, are treated, I'll arrange for another meeting. I'm sorry, Mr. Go Jangbo. I should have considered your words more carefully, but seeing those men drenched in blood, I think I lost my ability to think straight. He drew closer, his eyes locking onto the officer with a threatening glare. I don't care about the details, but I will remember your face. From now on, you'd better live a very peaceful life. Just take them away. Later that evening, at the police station, Go Jangbo slung an arm around the main character as they left, saying, Kid, I really mean it, thank you. Without you, I would have been in huge trouble. My name is Go Jangbo, and I never forget a debt, you hear? He held out a thick wad of cash and said, Take this, a token of my gratitude. Thank you, sir. Seeing the boy pocket the money, he continued his thought. A student at that age. Shouldn't he at least hesitate before taking a pile of cash? This kid, showing up with that dashcam video, is truly extraordinary. Hyun-sung suddenly spoke up. Sir, I'm just asking this out of curiosity. Do you really think this incident was a simple accident? What are you getting at, kid? I'll be direct, Hyun-sung said seriously. I know exactly who you are. You're in a succession war with your younger brother, Go Jang-sok. You are the eldest son of the Myungin Construction Group, Go Jangbo. Hearing this, his brow furrowed instantly. Who are you? Hyun-sung stepped back and said, I don't think this incident was a coincidence, and I have evidence to prove it. Mr. Go Jangbo, what do you think I stand to gain from all this? Hyun-sung recalled seeing Go Jangbo at the hospital. He was a well-known figure in Daesan. Thanks to that fame, he remembered some of the issues surrounding his family. He knew how they lived, and how their story ended. If you're truly grateful, give me 1 hour of your time. I promise it's nothing that will harm you. Pointing at him with an intimidating gaze, he added, and it could change your entire life. At a nearby cafe, Hyunseong put his phone on the table and said, "This is the original copy from the dashcam. I figured I could prove it was self-defense with only the latter half of the video, so I deliberately kept the first half from them. The first part you're watching now shows everything that happened before you arrived, and it proves this was no coincidence at all. 30 minutes before the accident, 3 men gathered in front of the convenience store. At a glance, they just looked like customers. But for 30 minutes, they didn't move a single centimeter. It was as if they were waiting for someone. The moment you arrived, they instigated a fight with you. Since their orders were to get hit, they just put their faces out and hurled insults." Go Jang-beom tried to remain calm, but in the end, he was the one who threw the first punch. Suddenly, Hyun-sung slammed his glass on the table and said, "It's only natural that you would have your suspicions about this. This recent chain of events feels like someone deliberately set it all in motion, right when the succession war began. That's why these terrible things keep happening to you, one after another. What if all of this was orchestrated by Jang-sok to bring you down? Whether it was an accident or intentional," he thought to himself. The difference between the two completely changes the severity of the problem. Jang-beom's brow furrowed as he thought. To be honest, I've always suspected it, but I never wanted to accept that my own brother, who was raised so well, could do something so rotten. After a moment, he looked up and asked, "So why are you telling me all of this?" Hyun-sung held his glass, thinking back. Myeongin Construction was only known in its hometown at the time. But thanks to solid technology and investment capital, they became a massive success in the apartment brand market. It was all due to Chairman Myung-in Jin's philosophy: you should never play games with the homes people live in. They cut down on marginal costs and massively increased their success rate. Soon, they had pushed the name Myeongin Construction into the ranks of major conglomerates, but during that time, both of the chairman's sons disappeared from the public eye. Go Jang-suk was the one who started it all. From that point on, not long after, an accident occurred that shook the entire country. Even I, someone just dealing with school bullies, knew about it. He was aiming for the position of successor and would do anything, but in the end, his older brother, Go Jang-beom, discovered his plot. And just like that, the older brother struck his younger sibling. Because of that single blow, Go Jang-sok was left permanently disabled. Not long after, Go Myung-in announced that both of his sons were incompetent and that he couldn't hand Myung-in Construction over to them, causing a massive uproar. At that time, digging into the past actions of the two sons became so popular that their images were posted online as memes. That's how I was able to remember and find that location. Anyway, because of that, Chairman Jin hired a professional manager. This move led Myung-in Construction to overcome the crisis and become an even more renowned corporation. Hyun-sung remembered and thought, actually, for the sake of Myung-in Construction, it would be better if nothing changed. The eldest son, Go Jang-beom, wasn't exactly evil for taking down his competitor, but he was a useless man with a rotten personality. The second son, Go Trong-se, is a vile creature. He'll stop at nothing to get what he wants. Morality be damned. The logical move would be to discard both sons for the good of Min-jae Construction. But that doesn't concern me. To me, their usefulness to my goals is all that matters. Right or wrong, the butterfly effect will ripple out once the future is changed. He quickly dismissed the thought. That kind of thing isn't my problem. Even if my choices make the future worse, I don't care. In this life, revenge comes first. I'll take care of my family after it's done. Min-jun met his gaze and said, I will help you. That way, you can get revenge on Go Trong-se. And you, the eldest son, can become the chairman of Min Construction. Go Trong-beom scoffed. Haha, how absurd. Where did you even come from? You're just a high school kid. Someone must be backing you in this succession war. But don't you get it? Min-jun's next words stopped him cold. The people who claim to support you are just whispering sweet nothings in your ear. And yet a high school student like me can see right through Go Trang-se's entire scheme. It's as clear as day. They're his moles. I don't need you to trust me right now. Just give me one chance. A chance for me to prove my worth. Go Trong-beom frowned, his eyes a mix of deep suspicion and ambition. Outside the cafe, he stood smoking. My head is about to explode, he thought, taking a frustrated drag. An employee rushed out. Excuse me, sir, this is a non-smoking area. He shot a threatening glare. Get lost. Scram, before I decide to flatten this entire coffee shop. The employee broke into a cold sweat and bowed deeply. My apologies for being so rude, sir. Min-jun watched from inside, thinking, Go Trang Biom is a man who lives carefully, because he's the eldest son of mean construction. In Jadison, he's known as a ticking time bomb you don't dare touch. But I didn't approach him because he's a decent man, but because he's utterly corrupt, a man willing to eliminate his own brother for power. I chose him because he is the perfect piece for my game. Standing outside, Trang Biom muttered, Trang-se, you bastard, you should have known when to stop. What that kid said wasn't wrong. Compared to my brother, I have nothing. At this rate, the heir's seat will slip right through my fingers. Still, in a situation like this, can I really trust a 17-year-old kid I've never met before? A memory of his father's words surfaced. Trang Biom, if you lack talent, then find someone who has it and keep them by your side. Don't discriminate based on age, gender, or status. If you keep the skilled people you need close to you, you can lead mean Jane construction. Go Trang Biom gritted his teeth, stamping out his cigarette with a curse. Damn it. I'm all out of options. He stormed back into the cafe and said, Hey, let me hear your plan first. I'll listen, and then I'll make my decision. So, that's what happened? In his office, Go Trang-se held his phone. You utter fool! He slammed the phone down and roared. Do you have any idea of the magnitude of your failure? This is all because of the old man's archaic way of thinking. Why does he insist the firstborn has to inherit everything in this day and age? He adjusted his glasses, thinking, Calm down, I still have the upper hand. As long as nothing out of the ordinary happens, the position is as good as mine. Suddenly, his phone rang shrilly. He picked it up. What is it? The voice on the other end was frantic. We have a huge problem. The madam just walked into Hyunseong's office. The words from the other end of the line sent a chill down Trang's spine. Meanwhile, Min-jun was laying out a plan for Trang Biom. To win this race, you first need to face reality. Between you and Go Trang-se, who do you think is more fit to be the successor of Mean Jane Construction? Before he could even reply, Min-jun pressed on. It's obviously Go Trang-se. Unlike you, who can barely graduate high school, he studied business administration at a prestigious university, and the moment he returned to Korea, he married into a powerful family. Then he used the promise of succession to successfully recruit his own faction. And just like that, a framework for his succession was established. From the very beginning, none of it was a coincidence. Go Trang-se has been preparing for years to steal your position, and as a result, he has built an incredibly powerful base for himself within the company. Other than being the eldest son, you don't have a single advantage over him. Min-jun smirked at him and said, And on top of that, you've been having a lot of accidents like this, haven't you? Who's going to support you now? The more Go Trang Biom listened, the more his anger boiled, but Min-jun continued, Even knowing all these differences, I don't think you can win. What are you getting at? Min-jun replied. Even though Go Trang-se is miles ahead of you in this succession race, there's only one reason Chairman Gong Bong-jin wants you to fight for it. It's because his naive eldest son still desperately craves the title of successor. That's the only reason you're even allowed to compete, even when the differences between you make this whole contest seem pointless. But the chairman of Mean still hasn't made a final decision on his successor. And in that case, let me paint you a picture. What if Go Trang-su, the golden child who surpasses you in every way, came crashing down to the very bottom, right where you are now? What do you think would happen? If you had the skills to match him, who would Chairman Min choose between you two? That's when the real war for succession begins. When you can finally stand on the same level as your rival. At that point, the only strength of the eldest son, Go Trang-so, froze, watching his own woman weep, her body beaten and bruised. Hyun continued, becomes a chasm in status that you can never hope to cross. Hyun raised 3 fingers and said, If you truly want to win this war for power, you will need 3 things. First, your background. And on that front, you've already lost. Completely. While Go Trang-so was busy forging a powerful alliance with a noble family through marriage, you were busy making useless connections in the red light district. So what's the second requirement? Reputation. I don't think I need to elaborate on your title as Dasan's biggest scumbag, do I? And the final thing you need is ability. While you were still drowning yourself in women and liquor, Go Trang-so was proving his worth, building a mountain of achievements in business. He doesn't even have to be exceptional, because whatever he does, it will always be better than anything you could accomplish. From this moment on, we are going to change all 3 of those things. Let's go back to the first one. Your background. How should we go about changing it? Though seething with rage, Trong Byom patiently listened to Hyun. You can't just marry into a powerful family the way Go Trang-soo did. And it's not like power is just going to fall from the sky. So, we'll have to take a different approach. We're going to shatter the bond between him and his wife. Once the support from her family disappears, the very foundation of his power, Go Trang-soo, will be knocked right back to the starting line. Right back down here with us. In Chairman Go Myung-jin's office, Go Trang-soo bowed his head low. I apologize, father. The chairman of Min Construction glared silently at his youngest son. Seeing him bow in apology, the chairman simply turned his back. I am deeply sorry, father. These pathetic fools. The chairman scowled. I already contacted your father-in-law. That old man of hers told me himself that he would teach you a lesson so things don't escalate to the point of divorce. And your wife sent word through me. She's going to keep her distance for a while. She's waiting to see how you plan on compensating her for this. Go Trang-soo kept his head bowed. I am so very sorry, father. But the chairman just roared. Sorry for what? How many times do I have to beat this into your head? If a man can't control the beast in his pants, his entire family will fall to ruin. And if you're going to mess around with that kind of trash, you should at least learn from your brother Trang Byom and make it a one-time thing. He pounded his own chest, trying to quell his fury. Ha! It seems I have completely failed in raising you boys. And you, Go Trang Byom. Why do I hear you've been in and out of the police station? Hyun had expected him to play the innocent victim, just like he always did. But this time was different. Trang Byom recalled their conversation in the cafe. That's right, it's a brilliant idea. I'll catch Trang-soo's screw-up and tattle to the old man, right? Trang-soo is tarnishing our family's name. We can't entrust the family business to a scoundrel like him. If the old man gets disappointed in Trang-soo, then... But Hyun had cut him off sharply. No, that is a terrible idea. While I was still unconscious, I vaguely overheard the contents of a report on Chairman Myung-jin. Chairman Go Myung-jin knows everything his two precious sons have been doing. And of course, he knows Go Trang-soo is planning to take down his older brother, Go Trang Byom. The chairman simply sees it as a way for things to sort themselves out. That's precisely why he hasn't interfered with Trang-soo's schemes. Hyun's eyes narrowed at the thought. Go Myung-jin doesn't prioritize a righteous path as a criterion for choosing his successor. Even if his successor's private life and methods are a bit dirty, he wants someone who can actually contribute to the company's growth. But do you really think Chairman Go Myung-jin's heart will lean towards you just because you start pointing out Go Trang-soo's wrongdoings? He would sooner hand the company over to a professional manager. If Go Trang-soo continues to be a disappointment, simply dragging your rival down with you won't increase your chances of succession at all. Go Trang Byom needs to show the attitude of a true chairman. You must prove that you have fundamentally changed. Thinking back, Hyun then said, From now on, I will tell you the plan. Back in reality, Trang Byom bowed his head and said, I am sorry. I will be careful to ensure such a thing never happens again. Whatever the reason, the fault is mine as the eldest son of Min Construction for allowing such a transgression to occur. Everyone in the room was completely astonished. From now on, I will be mindful of my position and act accordingly. And father, allow me to further discipline my little brother for the chaos he has set in motion. Go Jangbei looked up, his eyes wide as the chairman spoke. I heard they were the ones who provoked you, correct? And yet, you did everything in your power to avoid a physical conflict. He placed a firm hand on his son's shoulder. You've done well. You handled this on your own. I'm proud of you. Meanwhile, in his office, Go Jang-soo was seething. Damn it all. Which bastard leaked the hotel's location to her? He turned to his brother, snarling. But if I ever get my hands on that rat, I will tear him limb from limb. Well done, I'm proud. He doesn't care about me. Jangbei muttered, his mind reeling. Well done, I'm proud. Well done, I'm proud. He trembled as the words echoed. My father, a man who has always been so impossibly strict, has finally acknowledged me. He patted my shoulder, praised me for doing a good job. While Jangbei was lost in his moment of bliss, Go Jang-soo stormed out. This feeling, from this day forward, it must continue. Later that evening, a more composed Go Jangbei spoke from his car. Thanks to you, I've finally earned my father's praise. Now, tell me, what do I have to do to become the next chairman? I'll follow your every command, Hyunseong replied coolly. Don't get ahead of yourself. The only thing we've accomplished is dragging Go Jang-soo back to the starting line, support-wise. To become the chairman, you still need to win the next 2 rounds. I have a plan, but it's far too difficult to execute right now. For the time being, join the company as a rank-and-file employee and observe how things truly operate from the ground up. I will tell you when the moment is right." He stared at Hyunseong in disbelief. "You want me to work as a common grunt? How could I possibly?" "Fine, tell me what to do, and I'll do it," he relented. "And there is one more thing." "Something else?" "Yes. Do you recall our conversation at the cafe? We are working together because we each possess something the other desperately desires. In exchange for my assistance, you promised to grant me one wish, correct?" Go Jang-bae grinned with confidence. "Of course. Is there anything I wouldn't do for you?" "Good." Hyun-sung's expression turned ice cold. "Then I will be direct. I need you to become a hearing officer on the disciplinary committee." Down the hall, a woman's shriek echoed. "You worthless leech. Do you think I'd pour money into your salary to hear pathetic excuses? Do I look like I'm joking? Do you want to be fired on the spot?" This was Jung Min-ho's mother, Kim Sun-ja. She raged. "If you don't want to be utterly humiliated, you will expel the boy who laid a hand on my son. Do you understand me?" Kim Young-chul, utterly defeated, could only say, "Yes, ma'am." She then stormed away, leaving the teacher to cover his face and curse. "Damn it, what does she expect me to do?" In his office he pleaded frantically, "Hyun-sung, you have to be realistic. A humble apology is the only way to minimize your punishment. You can't solve this by being so stubborn." Hyun-sung spoke calmly. "Sir, you and I both know that Jung Min-ho's mother is pressuring you. Think carefully. Would you rather I expose the funds you've been embezzling, or should we talk about your affair with that other woman? You must understand this. If I go down, you are coming down with me. Choose wisely, if you value your life. Good luck. Have I ever disappointed you before? Then I will entrust this matter to you, Principal Oh Dae-hwan." The teacher sank into his desk chair, burying his head in his hands. "I'm finished. A cheating husband or a corrupt educator. Either way, my career at Daesun is over. What am I supposed to do with all the money I've saved?" Suddenly, his eyes shot open with sheer terror. He looked up and saw Hyun-sung's confident smile. A voice announced, "We will now begin the disciplinary hearing. First, we will have a precise report of the events that transpired. The supervisor of the accused, Kim Young-chul, will make the presentation." He rose from his seat, helpless, then suddenly shouted, "The cause of this incident is crystal clear. This school's resident bullies, led by Jung Min-ho, instigated the conflict with their fellow student. This entire situation is a sham. The real aggressor is being treated like the victim." Kim Young-chul's mind raced in shock. "Wait, that man sitting over there. Am I seeing things? Isn't that the man I met at that exclusive entertainment establishment the other night? Could it be? Is Kim Hyun-sung's guardian the eldest son of the Myeongin Construction Company? When I saw the attendance list, I assumed it was just someone with the same name. But Go Jang-bae is a man of incredible influence. Jung Min-ho's parents are nothing in comparison. How could a man of his stature possibly be here as Kim Hyun-sung's guardian?" He covered his mouth, a cold sweat breaking out across his brow. "No, forget that for now. The only thing that matters right now is finding a path to survival. Besides myself, there is no one else in this room who recognizes that man as Go Jang-bae, model." He rose to his feet, a determined scowl etched on his face. Now was the time to make his stand. This was a disgusting inversion of justice, where the aggressor was now playing the victim. The principal, taken aback, spoke up. "What? Teacher Kim Young-chu, please explain yourself clearly to avoid any misunderstandings." He shot a fearful glance at the principal. "I understand." Then, turning to Jung Min-ho and his mother, he declared, "I have received numerous reports about the 4 students in Park Min-ch's gang. Ever since the school year began, they have been tormenting the students around them. I gave them stern warnings to stop causing trouble, but their behavior only grew more vile." He looked at our main character, who was smirking with confidence, and continued his testimony. "A few days ago, Park Min-chu was bullying Lee Dungmin. Kim Hyun-sung couldn't stand by and watch, so he intervened, saying, 'We're all students here.' He acted out the scene with passion, painting a picture of a kind-hearted boy trying to stop a fight. But Park Min-chu and his friends ganged up to attack Hyun-sung. He turned to the crowd and asked, 'What would any of you do? If someone were trying to hurt you, would you just sit there and wait for the worst?' Everything student Kim Hyun-sung did was in self-defense. As for Jung Min-ho, he's a key member of Park Min-ch's crew. He was cheering them on as they attacked. While Hyun-sung was only defending himself, he did everything he could to avoid causing serious injury. He had no other choice. Rage simmered in Dong Minho's eyes as he listened. Of course, I agree his method of self-defense was a little extreme, but considering the circumstances and the cause, if only Kim Hyunseong is punished, then we are nothing but garbage adults covering up school violence. I've said my piece. Kim Young-chu bowed his head, about to sit, but the principal shot up, shouting in disbelief. What on earth are you talking about? Don't stray from the point, Teacher Kim. We are here to discuss the unprecedented incident at Chelie High that sent 4 students to the emergency room. The claim that the victims were actually the aggressors is unconfirmed. That is precisely the issue we are here to discuss. As he spoke, the room erupted in hushed, anxious whispers. Violence cannot be excused for any reason whatsoever. Furthermore, we have never heard of or encountered any students accused of such malicious behavior. The principal put on a pained expression and continued. Sigh. Everyone in this room is a student of Chelie. It tears my heart apart to have to punish any student for wrongdoing. But regardless, punishment is necessary. To prevent such unfortunate events from ever happening again, we must identify the core problem and make an example of them. Only then can the parents who have entrusted their children to our school return home with peace of mind. Isn't that right? As he spoke, he exchanged a knowing glance with Dong Minho's mother. So, first, we will hear from Dong Minho about what transpired. The victim's testimony is likely to be the most accurate, wouldn't you agree? Student Dong Minho, you may begin. Dong Minho began to tremble. What I experienced was completely different from what the homeroom 1 teacher just said. What I saw when I entered the classroom was Minchu being beaten by Kim Hyun-sung. His voice cracked with feigned sorrow as he looked at the main character. I asked my friends, and they told me Kim Hyun-sung does this all the time. He bullies Minchu whenever he feels like it. You can call other witnesses to prove it. The fact is, Kim Hyun-sung was the one who attacked first. Everything I'm saying is the truth, without a single lie. He covered his face, his body shaking with false grief. When I saw my friend being beaten, I couldn't just stand by and watch. I ran over to them. But Kim Hyun-sung didn't hesitate to use that lock. That wasn't just a weapon. Of course, seeing so many of us gather, Kim Hyun-sung must have felt scared. Hyun-sung could only stare back in disbelief at this twisted story. But Minchu looked so pathetic. We didn't even have time to register what kind of expression Kim Hyun-sung was making. I honestly don't understand why that teacher keeps putting the blame on us. That's not what happened. Sir, you remember, don't you? Kim Hyun-sung has been punished before. Back then, Kim Hyun-sung was reprimanded and called to the teacher's office. He sought me out and attacked me in front of everyone, even though I did nothing wrong. Can you really say that all of this is my fault? Minho's mother immediately joined her son's performance. With a calm demeanor, she said, Everyone, please, look at my son's face. The face of the child I raised with my own 2 hands, so carefully, a child I never dared to hurt even slightly, has been ruined like this. How can anyone bear to look at this? Such a vicious act of violence has occurred in this terrifying school. What am I supposed to do? This time, it happened to my son. But who knows which child will be next in the future? We, as parents, cannot let this go. We must punish these thugs. After her dramatic sermon, the other parents were easily swayed, their whispers growing louder. I think she's right. Of course, someone like that cannot be forgiven. Punish him! We have to punish him! Meanwhile, in the hospital, Park Min-che's crew was just casually playing video games. It's about to begin, isn't it? Kim Hyun-sung must be going through hell right now. After all, we both know how influential Minho's mother is. That woman is a force of nature. She's the kind of mother who would tear this entire school down for her precious son. Do you really think someone like her would let this slide after seeing her son's face all beaten up? That Park Min-chul is absolute scum. You're damn right. If that bastard doesn't get expelled from this school, I'll personally teach him a lesson he'll never forget. We won't stop until he's on his knees, crying and begging for mercy. And even if he's kicked out, I'll hunt him down and make him pay the price. Seeing the crazed look in his eyes, Cho Young-sik asked, Do you think we can squeeze some settlement money out of this? Of course we can. We should demand at least $1 million, don't you think? If I got my hands on that cash, I'd buy a motorcycle. Maybe throw a party in the park with some cute girls. Damn, that would be the life. Back at the school, a fist slammed down on the table. Go Jangbo's voice roared, Damn it! Cut the crap and tell me what really happened, you wretched woman. Are you seriously trying to feed everyone these lies? Do you have any idea what actually went down here? He jabbed a finger toward Minho and said, Don, you think that little demon in human skin over there is the real cause of this whole mess? The principal sputtered, feigning outrage. What is the meaning of this? Do not call one of my students a demon. Go Jangbo's eyes narrowed dangerously. I wouldn't call him a demon if he wasn't one. I did my own homework on Park Min-chol's little gang. Bullying, petty theft, and stealing from other students. They're infamous. So infamous that everyone around here knows their name. So why are you protecting them? Are you that stupid? Or did you just accept a handsome bribe from their parents? Go Jangbo casually draped an arm over Hyunseong's shoulder. I know an ambulance was called because Park Min-chol's crew was injured. But that only happened because Kim Hyunseong was forced to defend himself. That teacher said it himself. We need to get to the root of the problem. So you punks better start telling the truth. Minho's mother shrieked like a banshee, her face twisted with rage. You bastard! Who are you calling a thug? How dare you call my son a thug? Who the hell do you think you are? I heard this Kim Hyunseong doesn't even have parents. She jabbed a finger in his face, screaming, Who are you to speak to me like that? A scornful smirk played on Go Jangbo's lips as he recalled their conversation in the car. Become his guardian? Why? Just let me know if you need money. Hyunseong had coolly replied, Actually, I need your influence more than your wealth for the plan I'm setting in motion. This isn't just about cash. Think of it more as a strategic investment. To defeat an enemy who has everything, you must also possess everything. And there's one thing I can only obtain through you, Go Jangbo. Power. Hyunseong's gaze was serious. I'll be frank with you. In planning to deal with a few situations brewing within the school, these aren't simple schoolyard squabbles. If they blow up, they could easily turn into serious legal battles. And whenever that happens, I need you to provide cover and help me resolve the problem from behind the scenes. With you backing me, no one in Daesan will dare to touch me. So, Mr. Go Jangbo, if you agree, now's the time to prove it. Hyunseong's voice was ice cold. And I promise you, what I accomplish will help you secure the chairman's seat at Myeongin Construction, or something even greater. Don't worry, Go Jangbo had said, more than willing. A confident grin had spread across his face. Trust me, I don't care what you do or who you go up against. It's not a problem. Back in the present, Go Jangbo smiled at the furious mother. You asked who I am? I am Hyunseong's guardian, and also the eldest son of the Myeongin Construction Group. A stunned silence fell over the room. Do you people have any idea who you're messing with? Hyunseong is a cherished younger brother to me, he said, pulling him closer. He's not the kind of person who goes around causing chaos for no reason. But when I heard he was being dragged before a disciplinary committee, I dropped everything I was doing and rushed over here immediately. Cheonghae High has a strong reputation in Daesan, so I was hoping Hyunseong could attend school peacefully. He crushed a piece of paper in his fist. I was even planning to make a sizable donation to the school in the Myeongin Group's name. I think you'll have to reconsider that now. I never realized this place was so rotten to the core. Minho's mother stared him down, her voice trembling with fury. Are you threatening me? I am speaking the truth. Go Jangbo's brow furrowed as he yelled back. And what exactly are you teaching here? Isn't the point of education to guide students toward what's right and help them reach their potential? If that's true, then why is Hyunseong the one who fought a pack of thugs to save his friend the one being punished? You ignored him while he was being bullied, and now you punish him for fighting back with a little force? Was this the first time? Where were all of you when he was being assaulted? Why did Cheongha High turn a blind eye while he was being tormented? Let's just ignore it because he's poor. We'll get money from the bully's parents, so we'll let it slide. If that's the real reason this school looked the other way, I swear, I will not go easy on you. The most promising school in Daesan, you say? I will see this through to the bitter end. The bully plays the victim, and Junmin's cronies follow suit. I'll make sure none of you ever set foot in Danan again. He slammed his fist on the table, his voice a thunderous threat. Is this what you call justice? Everyone's face went pale as cold sweat dripped down their brows. The principal was lost in thought. The eldest son of the Myeongin Construction Group is his relative? Since when? Isn't Kim Hyunseong an orphan? He just lives with his grandmother and his brother. If I side with Junmin now, I'll destroy any chance of a relationship with the Mean Group. I'll be driven out of Daesan City, just for defying a warning from Mean. But what if I cut Junmin loose right now? This is my chance to leave a good impression on Mean. If I could get Mean to sponsor our school, Chae-il High would undoubtedly become the best in the country. Call me a traitor, call me a fool, but for the future of Chae-il, there's no room for hesitation. With his mind made up, his entire demeanor shifted. A smile spread across his face as he said, Actually, I've heard the rumors that a certain group has been bullying other students since the beginning of the school year, And if those rumors are true, Jun Min-ho is their leader. Jun Min-ho's mother shrieked in outrage. Principal! But he simply turned away, avoiding her glare. No, this isn't the time for the victim's mother to speak. I'm not saying this to evade my responsibility, but merely to state the facts before us. This disciplinary committee exists to make a decision based on the truth. Kim Hyunseong is one of our finest students. He must have had a justifiable reason for his actions. Therefore, we should hear from student Kim Hyunseong first. Hyunseong thought to himself. Finally, they're asking me. When I had no one in my corner, nobody would listen to a word I said. If just one person had listened to me like this in my past life, I wouldn't have died like that. At that moment, Hyunseong spoke. I told countless teachers about Park Min-chul's group and how they assaulted other students. But every time I spoke up, they all said the same thing. That's Park Min-chul. He's not the kind of person who would do something like that. Are you sure they weren't just joking around? Of course they were. Don't take it so seriously. Grow up and solve your own problems. Sometimes, a teacher would say they'd look into it, but they never got to the root of the issue. At most, they would give them a light scolding. You created an environment where they could do evil without ever worrying about the consequences. Yes, I hit Jun Min-ho. I was also the one who sent Park Min-chul and the others to him. Jun Min-ho stared in utter shock at his confession. But why am I the one sitting here? Is it just because I landed a single punch? Because I went too far? No, it's because you adults think I have no power. Even if I were bullied and thrown from a rooftop, without power, the incident would have been covered up. There's one law for the rich and another for the poor. That is an undeniable truth, and I'm going to take full advantage of that truth. A gang has been bullying students in this school for a long time. Hyunseong clenched his fist and declared, Punish them first. If you don't, I will release all the information about this case to the public. Everyone will know the truth about Chae Il-hai, and it will become the shame of Dasan. The only way to silence me is with a final verdict. Jun Min-ho's face was a mask of pure disbelief. His mother stubbornly shouted, I will not let my son be judged like this. I won't allow it. The next second, she stormed outside to make a call, screaming, You son of a bitch! Just you wait! I'm calling my husband! The air in the room grew heavy with tension. Her husband answered the phone. What's wrong? She shrieked. Honey, listen to me! I told you! The disciplinary committee was opened because of Minho's case. These people are blaming everything on Min-ho. The teachers, Kim Young-chul and Principal Daewon, they've all turned on us because of a sponsorship from that bastard, the eldest son of the Min group. That punk dared to ignore our connections. Where are you? Can you get here now? You need to show them who we are. But her husband's reply was unnervingly calm. So, Go Jangbon is the main sponsor? You know him? Perfect. Get over here and put that bastard in his place. Her husband's voice suddenly erupted into a roar. How dare you make trouble with the eldest son of the Min group? Do you want our entire family to be destroyed? Get home right now. Whether Min-ho is guilty or not, just let him take the punishment and get home now. She stood frozen on the spot, completely stunned. The meeting ended shortly after. That night, as Hyunseong lay on his mattress, he stared at the ceiling, thinking back on the results. We have decided that student Kim Hyunseong will be punished with 100 hours of volunteer service for committing school violence. Meanwhile, the 4 other students, including Jun Min-ho, are expelled. Expelled? The thought shattered Jun Min-ho's world. As Hyunseong walked out, Jun Min-ho lunged at him like a cornered animal. This is all your fault, you son of a bitch. A hand shot out and grabbed his arm. Hyunseong smiled calmly and said, Kneel and beg. What? I said, kneel and beg. Min-ho lost all control and screamed, Why the hell would I do that? I'm already expelled, so why should I kneel? You should ask your mother, Hyunseong said with a smirk, whether you should kneel or not. She saw his look and immediately turned her head away. Hyunseong whispered into his ear, You should try to make me happy. Who knows, I might just end your punishment. After a moment's thought, she spoke up. Min-ho, kneel, and beg for forgiveness. Mom, why are you doing this? Just hurry up, she said, her voice filled with despair. The color drained from Min-ho's face. Then, he finally bent his knees, in the exact same way his mother had forced Hyunseong's mother to kneel in his past life. I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. But what am I supposed to do now? That's not nearly enough to make me feel better. You should start praying. Dong Min-ho looked up in anger, but his face paled with terror at Hyunseong's demonic expression. Because, from now on, your future is going to be pitch black. Hyunseong covered his forehead, deep in thought. Just like that, the disciplinary hearing was over. His phone vibrated, bringing him one step closer to the leader of the organization. A text message glowed on the screen. Hyunseong, this is Park Min-chu. Can we meet? Please, just once. I'm begging you. Hyunseong knew the boy was already pushing himself towards death's door as he headed to the meeting spot. Park Min-chu forced a smile. You came. Thank you so much. But Hyunseong wasn't interested, scowling as he said, skip the pleasantries, get to the point. The boy's face darkened, unable to look Kim Hyunseong in the eye. All right, Hyunseong. He clenched his fists. Bullying the other kids. Trying to beat you up that day. It was all my fault. It was childish of me. I never considered the pain you were all going through. After a week in the hospital, I accepted the disciplinary committee's punishment. I swear I'll never do it again. So, can you please let this go? He pleaded. I asked the teachers, and they said if you agree, I won't be expelled. Dong Min-ho already went with his family and accepted his punishment, so we can't change that decision. But he said you could vouch for the rest of us. Park Min-chu persisted with a strained smile. Can you give us another chance? If we get expelled, our lives are over. He placed a desperate hand on Kim Hyun-sung's shoulder, pleading, please, just this once. I'll be your dog, your slave. Through hell or high water, I'll do anything you want. Hyun-sung thought to himself, expulsion must be a shocking blow, even if they acted like murderers in front of weaker kids. They were only 17. Just high school students with a supposedly bright future. They'd never find another school in this district that would take them. Hyun-sung stared into his desperate eyes. With expulsion and school violence on their records, he thought, they truly believe their lives are over. Telling you this puts us in danger too. But someone ordered us to bully you. I know, Hyun-sung replied instantly. Park Min-chu stared at him, completely stunned. Hyun-sung grabbed Min-chu's wrist. The one backing you. I know who it is. Kim Hyun-sung's memories flooded back shocking news reports of an organization taking responsibility for school violence cases. A few years after he had fallen into a coma, another student, bullied just like him, had taken their own life. The suicide note they left behind revealed the truth. The Golden Circle was a notorious school organization in Gangnam, but its core members remained unknown, even in the future he had witnessed. The director of the Golden Circle saw the suffering caused by school violence and recognized it as a lucrative business opportunity. He recruited bullies and thugs with equivalent power, then sought out students with rich and powerful parents. He offered to protect their children while at school. It was a system where managed students would receive excellent rankings, while other high-ranking students would be systematically taken down. The recruited thugs would be mobilized to eliminate anyone at the top. In the future, he saw, some of the outer members of the Golden Circle were exposed. But the scandal was quickly buried, and the identities of the two core members were never revealed until the very end. To complete my revenge, I've already walked into hell. Hyun-sung's eyes blazed with fury. I have to investigate the Golden Circle and destroy it completely. With that thought, he spoke again. It's the Golden Circle, but something strange. Their base of operations is in Seoul and Gyeonggi. Their influence shouldn't reach this far. Who hired you? And how? Hearing this, the boy hesitated for a moment. Park Min-chu answered, it was Senior Shin Yong-min. Hyun-sung was surprised. Shin Yong-min? The third-year delinquent who practically ran the school. He hadn't considered him a member of the Golden Circle, because the Golden Circle always issued orders to their soldiers from a distance. Shin Yong-min couldn't find clients on his own, but this meant he had a direct line to the organization. Through him, I can drag the Golden Circle into the light. But Hyun-sung's brow furrowed. Shin Yong-min wouldn't give up information easily. He was strong enough to debut as a pro MMA fighter in the future. If I attack him with my current skills, he'll be utterly crushed. For now, I have to figure out how to deal with this monster first. With his mind made up, Hyun-sung smirked. So, you want my forgiveness? Is that it? He grabbed Park Min-chu by the collar. The boy stammered in fear. Hyun-ah. His face darkened as he thought. Layers of emotion. A coma. And you want forgiveness? Regret? I won't allow it. Hyun-sung let out a chilling laugh. I'll make sure you understand exactly what's going to happen every single time we meet from now on. Without another word, Hyun-sung's fist crashed into his face. In his past life, he recalled, Park Min-chu grew up to be the father of a daughter. Dong Min-ho and the others, too. They all became successful, It was unbelievable how well they lived whenever they were mentioned. Perhaps their karma has finally caught up to them. I hope you all remember this. Hyunseong's fists rained down on Park Min-chu's face. A beat-down head remember for a lifetime. Back in the classroom, the rumors were spreading like wildfire. Seriously? I can't believe it. The guy is insane. He beat him with a padlock. And Jung Min-ho? He was so scared he couldn't do a thing. The moment I saw Kim Hyun-sung fight back, I knew he wasn't someone to mess with. How did he turn into someone like that? He was never like this before. It's always the quiet ones who turn into absolute monsters. They're scariest when they finally snap, with no self-control. Just then, Kim Hyun-sung walked into the classroom. Every single eye locked onto him. Ignoring them, he walked to his desk and sat down. Suddenly, a hand landed on his shoulder. Hey, thank you. It was a student who'd been bullied by Park Min-chu. I heard what happened. Park Min-chu and his cronies got expelled. It's all thanks to you. Just say the word, and it'll give you anything you need. Seriously. Kim Hyun-sung fell into a cold silence. The class watched with bated breath. Then, Hyun-sung finally spoke. Funny how you only show up after the fact, when you did nothing to help. Thank me? You were too damn scared to even be a witness. And now you're thanking me? I don't give a damn what happens to you, so get lost. Hyun-sung's eyes blazed with contempt. I never want to see your pathetic face around here again. Meanwhile, on the school rooftop, someone asked, So what's the plan now? Park Min-chu and his crew are gone. Our job here is done. He crushed his cigarette under his boot. Yeah, damn it. This was Shin Yo-min, a senior at the high school. He scoffed. That kid had no backup, no connections, and they went and beat him up. For what? Turns out his backer is the eldest son of the freaking Myeongjin construction group. Now that this is out, nobody in this school will dare touch Kim Hyun-sung. Who could possibly win against the Myeongjin group? The other guy asked. So you're giving up? He smirked. No, the situation's a mess, but it's salvageable. The prize money is clear now, isn't it? We just got a chance to make even more cash. We could get 10,000 just for taking care of one student. We should be thanking them for this opportunity. So, who's the top dog among the freshmen? Shin Yo-min's brow furrowed with sinister interest. Tell him to drag his ass to the rooftop. Now, at the same time, back in the classroom, Hyun-sung zoned out during the lecture, his mind racing. To take down the golden circle, I need to get better grades. Their targets are always students who outrank their own members. If I rank high enough, they'll be forced to make a move. To them, I've been a thorn in their side ever since middle school because of my good grades. So, the reason Park Min-chu targeted me must be because a member ordered Shin Yo-min to do it. Somewhere in this school, the real culprit is hiding. Someone who wants me gone, so they can take my spot. I have a few people in mind, but I can't make a move without solid proof. What I need to do right now is prepare myself for whatever they throw at me next. After school, Hyun-sung walked toward a rundown building, thinking to himself, Judo Chul, the first Korean fighter to become a UFL world champion. But now, he's just a relic of the past that nobody cares about. Hyun-sung stepped inside, looking around. Just as shabby as I imagined, a voice suddenly called out, Welcome! Are you here to sign up? Hyun-sung replied, Yes, I want to get good at fighting. He thought, this man is the missing piece of the puzzle. At that exact moment, on the rooftop, Shin Yo-min stared down a freshman. You're Jingu, right? He continued. You've got a decent build. Weren't you a wrestler or something? Shin Yo-min patronizingly patted the boy's cheek. I need you to do something for me. There's a freshman named Kim Hyun-sung. I want you to turn him into a vegetable, so he can never function like a normal human being again. Back at the gym, the man Hyun-sung was looking for spoke up. You look like a high school student. Well, you've come to the right place. Let me tell you about our gym. We offer physical education, stress relief exercises, and even diet improvement plans. The man smiling was the director of the gym, Judo Chul. We pride ourselves on 100% customer satisfaction. The monthly fee is 150,000 won. Not too expensive. He'll even act as your personal trainer. Hyun-sung observed him. The beard makes him hard to recognize, but I'm sure that's Judo Chul, the former UFL champion. Judo Chul smiled. So, what made you decide to come to the gym? Hyun-sung answered bluntly. I want to learn how to fight so well that I can crush every single bastard that gets in my way. Hearing this, the director's expression shifted. This gym isn't a place that teaches you how to brawl. If you're only here because you want to beat someone up, then I'm afraid I can't accept you. If you just work out a bit, bullies won't mess with you. Why don't you focus on improving your physique first? A flicker of frustration crossed Hyunseong's eyes. Judo Chul, the first Korean to ever become a UFL champion. There has to be a reason why a man who could live comfortably on his fame alone ended up managing a tiny gym in the middle of nowhere. A banned substance. Anabolic steroids were detected in his system right before his third title defense. It's a performance-enhancing drug, illegal in sports, designed to rapidly build immense muscle mass. Jung Do-jun admitted everything. He offered no excuses, and just like that, his career was over. But none of that mattered to me, because what I was after wasn't his fighting record, but his other legendary talent. I remembered hearing about him in my past life. He was the athlete who led Korea to its second UFL title, wasn't he? The fighter's name was Kim Mu-yeol. He skyrocketed to the top just years after his debut, an unprecedented rise to fame. But he recently confessed a shocking truth. In his own words, I'm no genius. In fact, I have zero natural talent. The only reason I've reached this level is entirely thanks to the special training methods of my master, director Jung Do-jun. I stared at the disgraced champion, my mind racing. Jung Do-jun, you turned a third-rate nobody into Korea's top fighter. If I can convince this man to teach me, I can build an unshakable foundation for my own power. With that thought, a determined smile crossed my face. Back when you were a competitor, you did whatever it took to win, right? No matter the method or the means. I'm willing to do the same to reach my goal. So what's the problem? Jung Do-jun's brow furrowed as he stared at me. He was silent for a moment before speaking. That was a mistake born from my own foolishness. If I could turn back time, I would never make that choice again. It's a regret that has haunted me every single day. Jung Do-jun rose to his feet. If you make a reckless choice for a short-term result, you'll end up in the same hell I'm in. Go home. I can't accept you. He turned his back. If you're just here to learn how to beat up some bullies, you'll only end up in a jail cell. 100 million, I said suddenly. I'll give you 100 million won. I know you need the money right now. If you promise to teach me, I'll transfer it all within a day. Consider it a down payment. Even if I quit halfway through, you won't lose a thing. He spun around, his eyes wide with shock. I recalled the consequences he faced, the side effects, the banishment from the world of mixed martial arts. I met Jung Do-jun's gaze and pressed my advantage. You must have known the risks, but you still chose to use those drugs. That was your choice. This is mine. Maybe I'll go around picking fights after you teach me, and maybe the consequences will be worse than I can imagine. I could end up crippled, or locked away in a juvenile detention center, in and out of prison for the rest of my life. But I came here today fully prepared for that possibility. A frantic energy burned in my eyes, just like you were when you decided to use those drugs. I am that desperate right now. I need you. Jung Do-jun frowned, seeing the unshakable resolve in my eyes. He finally spoke. You will never touch those drugs. I dirtied my own hands with that poison. I refuse to stand by and watch a kid like you walk the same path of ruin. I will help you only by teaching you. A smile finally broke across my face. That's all I'm asking for. Jung Do-jun opened the door to the ring. I'm not finished. Get on the mat. If you can last a single round, I'll acknowledge your will and accept your request. Later that night, a horrified scream echoed through the house. No, my poor precious boy. What on earth happened? My grandmother cried, staring at the bruises covering my body. She trembled, asking, Who did this to you? What kind of monster would do this? Tell me, and I'll make them pay. I'm all right, Grandma, I said calmly. All right? Look at you. What do you mean you're all right? Meanwhile, at the gym, Jung Do-jun was drinking alone. He hung his head low. Do-jun, you're the absolute worst. He then picked up his phone and sent a message. Forget about my offer. After thinking it over, I'm not getting involved. I've met all kinds of people during my professional career. Hardened criminals, and even students just like you. Kids who came to me because they were tired of being beaten up at school. Jung Do-jun looked me dead in the eye. No matter what your reason is, it's just empty talk. Once you step into this ring, your purpose and will become completely meaningless. Cocky kids who know how to throw a punch or two always end up on their knees, begging for mercy after taking a few clean hits to the jaw. 1 round, 3 minutes, no knockout techniques are allowed. Forget everything else and just try to survive. He slammed his fists together, his voice deadly serious. If you can prove to me that your will is unbreakable, then I will train you to become the strongest. So, are you going to try? I replied without hesitation. Yes, I'll do it. Then get ready. He observed my fighting stance, thinking to himself, his form is fragile, but he doesn't show a single trace of fear. Let's see what changes after he takes a real hit. With that thought, Dong Du-cheo unleashed a powerful fist straight at Hyunseong. The boy raised his guard, thinking head blocked it. But suddenly, the fist phased right through his arm and slammed into his face. Blood gushed from Hyunseong's nose. The sheer force of the blow sent him crashing into the fence behind him. Min sat down, looking down at the boy. Get up. It's only been 10 seconds. Hyunseong wiped the blood from his face. Dong Do-cheo rushed forward again, throwing a relentless barrage of punches. As he blocked, the boy thought, his speed and power are insane. One clean shot, and it's over for me. Huh? Why did he stop? While the boy was still surprised, the man drove a powerful kick into his leg. Hyunseong screamed in agony as he collapsed to the mat. Seeing him tremble, the man said, "It's not too late to stop." Shaking, Min muttered, "There are still 3 minutes left." Hyunseong forced himself up, declaring, "This isn't over yet." The clock continued its countdown as Dong Do-cheo launched another devastating punch toward Hyunseong. The boy kept blocking, but the non-stop assault had him gritting his teeth. I can't take this much longer, he thought. I just need one chance, no matter how small. With that, he swung a counterpunch, but Dong Do-cheo dodged effortlessly before delivering a crushing uppercut from below. The unexpected blow left him no time to defend. Hyunseong coughed up blood and crumpled to the floor. Dong Do-cheo looked down, thinking, it's over. Did it even last a minute? He held out for a while. I must have gone easy on him, so the damage won't be too severe. No. Worrying about his injuries is just an excuse. I was trying to come back, but he was the one who passed the test. I was the one trying. Just like that, I'm making excuses for myself again. I can't even stand to wound my own pride for someone else's sake. That's right. Just stay down. But suddenly, Kim Hyunseong gripped the fence, roaring as he dragged his body upward. Dong Do-cheo stared in shock. Wiping the blood from his chin, he said, I'm not finished yet. A confident smirk spread across Hyunseong's face. Let's keep going. The older man's eyes widened in disbelief. Hyunseong was panting, his gaze now like that of a crazed, wild beast. Dong Do-cheo thought to himself, this kid's killing intent isn't just for show. I have to deal with him before he crosses a line. Steeling his resolve, he said, my patience has run out. From now on, I'm not holding back. Remember that. With his declaration, Dong Do-cheo unleashed a furious volley of punches. As he blocked the blows, the boy wondered, is he going to stop mid-combo like before? It's a feint for another spinning kick. I won't fall for the same trick twice. But contrary to his prediction, Dong Do-cheo drove his fist straight into his gut. Min let out a gut-wrenching scream. Ah! He trembled and collapsed to the canvas. The man announced, 1 minute and 30 seconds left. If you don't get up in 15 seconds, I'll consider this match over. Hyunseong knew he had to stand, but his body refused to obey. After struggling to his knees for just a few seconds, Kim Hyunseong couldn't hold on and collapsed again. The man turned to leave, thinking, that was a heavy blow. This isn't the kind of pain you can just endure. Give up and go home, kid. But suddenly, Kim Hyunseong let out a primal roar. Get up! Get up right now! He screamed internally. You fool! You've waited for this very moment. You longed for this for 10 years while you were in a coma, praying to turn back time again and again. You begged for someone to kill you, but it was impossible. Get up. If you don't want history to repeat itself, get up now. As long as I have my revenge, I don't care if I become a devil, until I tear those bastards to pieces. I absolutely cannot lose. Dong Do-cheo watched in utter amazement as the boy rose to his feet again. A cold sweat ran down his back. That last punch wasn't something even a pro fighter could just walk off. What kind of monster is he? If someone like him becomes strong enough to fight for real, his life will be utterly ruined. I understand your desperation, but I can't let you live a life full of regrets like I did. I will stop you here with my own hands. With that decision made, he lunged forward, throwing a punch straight at Hyunseong's face. The boy tried to block, but he was too late. Min was down once more, thinking, endure it. I have to endure it. Even with a broken nose, with 1 minute and 3 seconds left. Even with broken teeth, with 50 seconds left. He had to endure it, no matter the cost. 12 seconds left. Hyunseong was a bloody, trembling mess. And yet, he stood up again, Dung Do Ko's brow furrowed in frustration as he slammed a vicious punch into the boy's stomach, sending him flying into the mesh wall. Seizing the opportunity, Dung Do Cheo moved in to deliver the final blow. As his fist was about to connect, the time was up. Dung Do Cheo pulled his punch, cursing under his breath. Damn it. He threw his gloves to the ground and said, "You're good at taking a beating. The hospital's closed, so go tomorrow. And don't you dare tell anyone I did this. Now, follow me. He'll give you my account number." Ducheo glanced at his phone, thinking back a few days to a proposal from a broker at a newly formed MMA league. They said they would pay Du Chu a hefty sum if he started using drugs again and joined their tournament to help them draw in the public. If it weren't for this money, he mused, I would have definitely accepted that deal. He typed a message on his phone, rejecting the offer. Back at Kim Hyun's home, the boy explained, I just got into a little scuffle with some kids at school. Don't worry, Grandma, it's nothing serious. Besides, we still have that savings account for a new house, don't we? His grandmother replied, Of course, dear. For years, I've put away 100,000 won every single month. I heard the Jane Construction Group is launching an apartment lottery this month. Should we try our luck? What if we actually get chosen for a contract? But his grandmother Min sighed. Even if we get chosen, we can't move in without the money. Hyunseong smiled. That's only for people who don't know the system, Grandma. These days, getting a loan from the bank is easy. And if we sell this current apartment, we can pay it right back. Even if we're unsure about the future, we can always sell the contract rights to someone else for a profit. His grandma looked at him, surprised. Since when did my grandson become a real estate expert? Hyunseong just laughed. Ha ha, I'm not that good. He thought to himself. Go Jang Bial will surely put my grandmother on the winners list. I could just give her 100 million won, just like I did for Jung Do Choi. But a gift like that would only make her question where the money came from. This way, he thought, she can accept it without feeling burdened. He then said aloud, Just don't forget to apply, okay? The next day, on the school rooftop, Shin Young-min cornered Jin-woo. You're actually pretty useful. Jin-woo just stared back. Huh? Young-min smirked. I heard everything from the first years. The moment I gave the order, you went and took care of him, right? You mean... Before he could finish, Young-min cut him off with a laugh. This idiot is still playing dumb. That guy was a real handful, so I thought it would be tough. But it looks like you gave him a serious beatdown. I'm starting to like you. From now on, you can tell everyone that you and I are close. Let's hang out after school. A spark of joy ignited within the lackey. He thought, I don't get what's happening. But this is my chance. He immediately shouted, Sunbae! From now on, if you need anything, just say the word. You know my name, right? It's the awesome Park Jin-woo. Meanwhile, Hyunseong was watching from afar. Is that little punk for real? He thought with a smirk. I just came to check on the situation. But what happened to his face? Did his arrogance finally get him beaten up outside of school? So Shin Young-min thinks I was the one who defeated him. Seeing how badly he's bruised, I guess he wasn't that strong to begin with. If he ever dares to touch me again, Hyunseong thought, clenching his fist. I'll crush him completely. And I'll throw in a lesson for free. Hez threatening all the first years, telling them hell kill anyone who talks to or hangs out with Kim Hyun-sung. To do anything properly, you need stamina, especially for something as physical as fighting. Jung Do Choi stared at him intently. What I mean is, if you're already out of breath after a few punches, it doesn't matter how great your technique is. It's useless. If it gets too hard, you endure it, just like last time. But if you give up halfway, I won't teach you a single thing more. 2 hours, every single day. You will endure it for 2 hours. And for that entire time, Hyunsung pushed himself relentlessly. Gasping for air, he thought, I have to do this. Shin Young-min, to defeat a monster who has trained for years, I have to conquer this physical hell at any cost. Besides, Shin Young-min isn't even my final target. To drag out the Golden Circle members hiding behind him, I'll have to defeat enemies who are even stronger than Shin Young-min. Jung Do Choi watched in astonishment, thinking, he actually endured the full 2 hours. This kid is unbelievably tenacious. It was only 2 hours, but every single second pushed him to his absolute limit. This kid has potential, he mused. Maybe I should try that times training method. He looked at Hyunsung with a grave expression. Ever since I was banned from the octagon, I've dedicated myself to researching the ultimate methods for becoming strong. Because of that, even though my own career is over, my students can still find their way to the top. From this moment on, I will apply the results of my research to your training. If you can keep up, you will become so powerful that anyone who stands against you will be forced to their knees. A week later, as Hyunseong sat in his classroom, someone suddenly appeared before him. The student said, "I don't think this is right. This has gone too far. You didn't do anything wrong." This was Kim Si-woo, a first-year student at Bright Prospect High. Hyunseong stared, utterly confused. Si-woo continued, "Well, you've changed a lot from what I remember, so it's a bit hard to say this, but I refuse to be on the same side as the people who are boycotting you." Hyunseong's eyes widened. "What? So let's be friends," the boy said. Hyunseong was still reeling. "What do you mean? Boycotting me?" Si-woo looked shocked. "Wait, you don't know?" "No. Tell me what's going on," Si-woo exclaimed. "Whoa, you really have no idea? Park Jin-woo has been going to every first-year class to threaten the students. He said he'll kill anyone who dares to get close to you." Hyunseong asked, "Then, why did you come to me?" Si-woo clenched his fists, his voice filled with passion. "Hey, how can you even say that? We've been close since elementary school. That's almost a decade. Even if they beat me to death, I could never boycott my own friend." "Ah," Hyunseong thought to himself. "I almost forgot what kind of man Kim Si-gu truly was." As the memories flooded back, he grit his teeth. "That damn fool. Enough is enough. In my past life, after Si-gu discovered the hell I was living in, he stood up for me. For a brief moment, I was free from Jing's crew. But then, they simply switched their target and started tormenting Kim Si-gu instead. After they beat him so badly, they broke his leg. He started pretending he didn't even know me. And one day, while I was wasting away in a hospital bed, Si-gu appeared. "I'm so sorry," Head said. "If Id just protected you to the end, this never would have happened. I was just so scared. I couldn't handle the reality of being beaten every single break time." Tears streamed down his face. "I thought I was brave, but when it really mattered, I couldn't do a thing. If there's a next life, I swear, I will never leave you alone again." Snapping back to the present, Hyunseong grabbed Siga's hand and said, "Stop it." Sigu looked shocked. "What are you talking about?" Hyunseong replied, "Don't act like we're so close. Stop the theatrics and go back to being a model student. I can handle this myself, so stay out of it." Sigu frowned. "Do you have any idea how serious this is? Break time is over. Well, talk later, but remember this. I'm going to do what I want." As he left, he declared, "I won't leave you alone. Just wait. He'll be back next break." Hyunseong sat down at his desk, lost in thought. In the coming war against Hwang Gum-yeon, I have no idea what kind of wounds or pain it will bring. I can't let him get involved in this. It will only bring him the same misfortune as before. All my relationships, outside of my family, good or bad, have to be severed. I can't abandon my family, but I can't let anyone else get dragged into this fight. Don't forget your homework, the teacher reminded the class. Hyunseong realized he needed a plan for what to say when Sigu returned. Outside, the rain was still pouring. As time ticked by, Hyunseong wondered. He said he'd be back, but he's not here yet. Did he give up? That's good. I won't have to convince him. Suddenly, he overheard a conversation. "Poor Sigu. He's so unlucky." "You mean Kim Sigu? What happened?" "I saw Park Jin-gu talking to him." "Should we tell a teacher? And get targeted for revenge?" "No way. Let's just pretend we didn't see anything. It's not like he's going to kill Kim Sigu or anything." In that instant, Hyunseong shot out of his seat like a storm. Park Jin-gu and his cronies had cornered Sigu in the bathroom. "Hey, Kim Sigu," Jin-gu sneered. "I warned everyone to stay away from Kim Hyunseong. Didn't you hear me?" His eyes were filled with menace. "Or did you lose your survival instinct?" But Sigu stood his ground. "Who the hell are you to tell me who I can be friends with? And I don't know why you're tormenting Hyunseong, but he is my friend. So cut out this pathetic act." Sigu's eyes blazed with fury as he lunged at the bastard. A vein bulged on Park Jin-gu's forehead. "Look at this little." Before he could finish, Sigu's foot connected squarely with his face, sending him flying into the wall. His lackeys stared in shock. "Jin-gu, are you okay?" Park Jin-gu roared. "Damn it. How humiliating. What are you idiots staring at? Beat him to a pulp." His cronies immediately swarmed Sigu. One of them swung a fist, screaming. "Ha!" Sigu glanced over and met the punch with a kick to the face. Another goon rushed forward, cursing. "You bastard!" As Sigu landed a punch, he thought, Hyunseong is going to be furious. He left to avoid this very thing, and I got myself involved anyway. But how could I just pretend not to see? Has a little extreme, has always been like that. Sigu landed another brutal blow on his attacker. But you've always been my friend. I will never abandon you. They ganged up on him, kicking him in the stomach. You think you're tough? He was shoved backward, right into Jingu. Jingu scowled. You've trained in Taekwondo, haven't you? He slugged Sigu across the face. There are always punks like you who think they're hot stuff just because they've learned a few moves. You should have stayed in your lane. I'm going to kill you, you son of a bitch. He shoved Sigu away and landed another punch. Listen up. Your life is over. From today on, you're one of Kim Hyunseong's buddies. His lackeys laughed mockingly. Look at this idiot. And I'm going to turn your school life into a living hell. Park Jingu snarled, his fists raining down on Sigu's face. Morning, break time, lunch, and even after school. I'll hunt you down. You'd better be ready. Suddenly, the door crashed open. Hyunseong entered. What the hell do you think you're doing? He asked, his voice dangerously low. With eyes like bullets and his fists clenched, Kim Hyunseong slowly advanced. Jingu let Sigu go. Ha! I was wondering who it was. You got something you want to say? Hyunseong thought to himself. Park Jingu. I plan to deal with him eventually. This is my chance, but he's on a different level. I can't win without a strategy. To have any shot at victory, I need to provoke him. With that, Hyunseong coolly slid his hands into his pockets. That's right, I do have something to say. The other kids told me you hit a home run. Is that right? You know what's hilarious? You guys got beaten by a mindless fatso who only relies on his size and weight. Provoked, Bak Jin-gu roared. What did you just say? Hyunseong stared him down. You only beat Kim Soo because you ganged up on him. Am I wrong? Let's see you try and take him on one-on-one. Hearing this, one of the thugs sneered. Don't you know your place? You want to end up like that cripple Suo? Suddenly, Jin-gu screamed. All of you, back off. I'll take care of this punk myself. What a simple-minded hothead, Hyunseong thought to himself. Hell rush at me without a second thought. Hess only the leader because of his brute strength, not his brain. His movements are sluggish, made even slower by his size. After landing a clean hit, Hyunseong scoffed. Was one punch all it took? What a waste of my time. His words only fueled the bully's rage. You bastard! Don't act so high and mighty. You son of a bitch! Hyunseong knew Jin-gu would fly into a rage and try to overpower him. His counting on his endurance, but my coach already taught me how to handle guys like this. Hyunseong unleashed a powerful blow right into Jin-gu's gut. Jin-gu howled in fury. You dog! I'm going to kill you right here. Just then, Hyunseong landed another devastating punch to his face. Time for the finishing blow. Bak Jin-gu staggered back in agony, only to be met with another strike. Stomping down hard on his chest, Hyunseong seethed. This will keep him down. Make sure he never forgets this day. His underlings cried out in terror. Is he insane? We have to do something. He's going to kill him. Bak Jin-gu grabbed Hyunseong's leg, trembling as he spoke. Hyunseong, please, stop. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Hyunseong lifted his foot and sneered. You're sorry, are you? He grabbed Bak Jin-gu by the collar. Hey, Jin-gu, say that again. Are you so sure you defeated me? Tell me. Say it again. Outside, a crowd of curious students had gathered to watch. With a look of pure fury, Hyunseong spoke for everyone to hear. Seeing that expression, Bak Jin-gu's fear intensified. I'm sorry. I was really wrong. I didn't want to do it. Shin Young-min made me. You know him, right? Hez, an upperclassman. I couldn't refuse his order. The rumors are all lies. How could I ever beat you? Please, believe me. I was just following orders. If it weren't for him, this never would have happened. So please, stop. I swear I'll never do it again. Hyunseong let him go and said coldly, You bastard. This is your last warning. If you ever touch Siu again, if I ever catch you. Without finishing his sentence, Hyunseong drove a vicious kick into Bak Jin-gu's face. His crew flinched in horror at the sight. Hyunseong shot them a threatening glare. I will hunt you to the ends of the earth and kill you all. Back in the nurse's office, a voice spoke up. Didn't I tell you? Just act like everyone else. If you don't want a repeat of today, then stay out of my business. I saw you right before I passed out. Siu sat up with a small smile. See, you're the same way. The second you heard Bak Jin-gu dragged me away, you came running. How could I not care about a friend like that? Siu grabbed Hyunseong's hand. I don't know what's going on, but the fact is, we're friends. So don't act like a stranger. Even if today happens again, I would do the same thing for you. Hyunseong pulled his hand away. You think my fight with Bak Jin-gu was a coincidence? No, it was intentional, because I wanted to destroy them. And no matter what happens, this is only the beginning. Siu refused to accept it. Hey, Kim Hyunsong, do you have any idea what my goal is? I'm going to tear every single one of those bullies to shreds, even if I have to sacrifice everything to do it. Hyunsong. Siu tried to interrupt, but was cut off. Shut up and listen. I've been through things I can't even tell you. So stop this. This is my revenge. If you stay near me, things like today will keep happening. Do you really think you can handle that? You, who got beaten down by someone like Bak Jin-gu. As he left, Hyunsong said, Kim Siu, I consider you a friend, but remember this. The kind and friendly Kim Hyunsong you knew is dead. I have to stop you. That's why, no matter what you hear about me from now on, don't get in my way, because you would never be able to endure it. It's the only way you can live in peace. After he left, Siu just sat there on the bed, stunned. He bit his lip, hard. Walking away, Hyunsong thought to himself, thank you for everything. In a classroom, Shin Young-min was scrolling through his phone with a smirk. I heard the reward doubled and the payment is coming soon. What should I spend it on? Isn't this great? 10 million won just to bully one kid. In the future, I'll demand they make me a director. Whispers echoed from the hallway. Isn't he the new guy? What's with his gear? I heard there's a director from another school, too. Shin Young-min continued to fantasize. If I get involved, billions won't even be a problem. This is a gold mine. I could become the Golden Gardens representative right after graduation. Suddenly, he whipped around in anger. Which bastard slammed the door open like that? Was it you? Standing in the doorway, filled with rage, was Hyunsong. You bastard. Shin Young-min, hearing the insult, he shot to his feet, eyes blazing. Did you just call me a dog? Hai Unung's reply was ice cold. Yeah, you son of a bitch. Without warning, Hai Unung lunged at Shin Young-min, unleashing a powerful kick aimed straight for his head. But Shin Young-min threw up a hand, blocking the attack. He gritted his teeth. Who the hell are you? You crazy bastard. Where did you even? Before Shin Young-min could finish, a fist flew right at him. Parrying the blows, Shin Young-min demanded again. I asked, who the hell are you? A smirk crossed his lips as he thought, so he's learned to fight somewhere. But there's no power in his hits, and his movements are laughably predictable. But suddenly, Kim Hyunung shifted his trajectory, landing a solid punch right in his gut. Shin Young-min coughed, spitting up blood. Only then did Hyunung speak. You were asking who I am, right? Kim Hyunung, the one you've been looking for. Clutching his stomach, Shin Young-min seethed. You're one hell of a bastard, you know that? And why are you even here? Before he could continue, Hyunung grabbed the nearest chair and slammed it over his head. Shin Young-min clutched his head, shouting, You psycho! You'd actually use a chair? Kim Hyunung thought, if I lose this advantage, it's over for me. With that thought, he hurled the chair at Shin Young-min, but his opponent dodged it. Hyunung charged forward again, his fist raised high, but his punch was caught mid-air, stopped dead by Shin Young-min's hand. He then raised his own fist and roared, You're finished, kid. Hyunung saw the fist coming and thought, Hes coming straight on. He dodged and slammed his own fist into his gut, saying, You think you're the only one who can take a beating? Hyunung endured the pain, thinking, It's fine. This is nothing compared to the coach's training. Shin Young-min landed blow after blow on his face. Hyunung thought to himself, I knew from the start I couldn't beat Shin Young-min head-on. This fight is just a test for myself. I never thought I'd get out of this without a scratch. I need to bet everything on the one chance I get. When I'm pushed to the absolute limit, I'll finally see his movements. Just then, Hyunung grabbed Shin Young-min's leg. His opponent's eyes widened in shock as Hyunung tackled him by the waist, shoving him towards the window. The glass shattered. Damn it! Shin Young-min cursed. He clung desperately to the window frame, his body trembling. You're insane. What do you want? Hyunung's voice was chillingly calm. What do I want? I want to see what happens. Whether I die or you die. At that moment, a teacher heard the commotion and came rushing in. What are you doing? Get that new kid off of him now. As Hyunung was pulled away, he roared with fury. Let go! I said, let me go! Get your damn hands off me! Shin Young-min, You son of a bitch. You think this is over? It's not. Not by a long shot. The moment you touched my friends, this was never going to end until you were dead. You hear me? You better prepare yourself. I will crush you every single chance I get. You think I can't do it? You really think so? I will rip the filth out of your head. Just watch what happens when you mess with me. One of his lackeys looked at Shin Yong-min. Hey, Yong-min, are you okay? He answered nonchalantly. Why are you even asking me that? Didn't you see me just beat the crap out of him? Sorry, I saw, but… Yong-min, your back. His entire back was covered in shards of glass. 30 minutes later, the school's intercom crackled to life. Ahem. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. The following students are to report to the principal's office. So, what exactly happened here? The teacher looked at the mess, exhausted. Kim Hyunseong, it hasn't even been that long since I cleaned up his last mess, and he's already causing another one. I have to handle this first. It won't be hard to keep Park Jin-gu quiet, but the principal is the real problem. I don't know how the disciplinary committee usually operates, but right now the principal is determined to turn this into a prestigious school. Will he really let this slide? Just overlook this matter, he said in shock. Excuse me? Do I need to repeat myself? The principal took a sip of water and said, Let's just overlook the issue this time. Kim Yong-chu asked, confused. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Teacher Kim Yong-chu, a friend of mine, informed me that Go Jang-bel, the eldest son, has made great strides towards winning the succession war for the Monjin Construction Group, and Go Jang-bel has agreed to become a sponsor for our school. He announced that he'll make a major contribution to our operating budget. The principal's eyes gleamed with ambition. And once he becomes chairman of the Mean Group, he has promised to sponsor us even more. To be frank, a sponsorship is completely different from a gift or donation. People only sponsor something when they want something in return. What do you think Go Jang-bel, the heir to the Mean Jane Construction Group, hopes to get by sponsoring our school? A better corporate image? A good reputation in Daesan? No, it's none of those things. Go Jang-bel wants a favor, that for the entire time Kim Hyunseong attends this school, no matter what trouble the kid causes, he wants us to bury it like it never happened. So for this incident, just turn a blind eye.